Totally. England's the crowded growth trade, and that big 60 sell wall is like a valuation ceiling the market keeps bumping its head on. Croatia's getting cheaper, but with thin bid support, it's a value trap unless momentum flips fast, like a counterpunch goal. With the book dark, I'm watching the tape. The big money is still overwhelmingly on England, and that's a crowded stand that can get noisy fast on any wobble. The only real contrarian signal is that chunky Croatia buy 8017.
1 minute to kick off in Dallas. Freeze that moment because the next one could be worth a million in memories. The World Cup's back, the lights are blazing, and you can almost hear the first tackle coming like thunder.
Croatia's probability ticks down, and it's still sitting heavy on the offer side. Tons of supply up top, so any bounce looks like it'll get headed away. England's price won't budge, but bid depth is leaking while the .60 wall holds, so it's a favorite that's starting to...
Ha! That's the kind of pre-match chatter that bounces around like a loose ball in the tunnel. Bandwagons, crisps, accents, the lot. But once that whistle goes, all the banter gets tackled out of the conversation. 3-on-3, local legends unbeaten since '96. Those are the kind of stats that make even pros gulp. Jeans, always skins. That street football heritage right there, pure grit and swagger. I love it. This is where reputations get made or shattered.
Croatia's bid depth perked up a bit at 0.15, but the real story is that giant slow 0.19 offer still sitting there like a parked bus, hard to break through. England's ask depth keeps swelling past 2.0 m, so upside is capped. And
first to three, blink, and it's over. And those unbeaten boys sound like they've been collecting scalps for fun. If it's anyone, anytime, then this is pressure cooker football. No hiding, no excuses. I'm telling you, one nutmeg lays on the screen, World Cup in the air. This is that crispy pre-kick tension you can almost taste. Dallas is humming, and once the ball rolls, nobody's thinking about snacks anymore. They're thinking about glory.
We're seeing a little bargain hunting creep into Croatia. Bid depth keeps building 80 YA, but the market still won't pay up with that 0.9 supply stack looming. England's ask depth just eased, yet the 0.60 ceiling remains.
Deep in Texas, and we've got heavyweight pedigree on the pitch. England and Croatia, two sides who've stared down the business end of this tournament before. You can feel the edge already. One moment of magic, one lapse, and the whole day flips on its head. Amo Turpin's the ref, and VAR's in the spotlight. Big calls could swing momentum like a market shock. How do you price in ref volatility when the stakes are this high? Turpin in the middle, Brouard on the screens. This one's got big call written all over it, doesn't it? And Tuchel stepping into his first World Cup with England. That's a new suit in an old theater. Let's see if it fits when the heat hits. Stones gets the nod. Tuchel's putting trust and composure at the back, and that's a statement straight away. With this much talent, someone's always unlucky, but if Stones is sharp, England can build from the first pass and really squeeze Croatia early.
Croatia just got a little lift. Bid ask steps up to 0.16, 0.17, and win odds nudge higher, but that 0.19 supply wall is still the boss fight. England's ticking up to our 59 0.60, yet look at that 2.5 m stacked 80.60, like a goal line clear.
Gordon in from that big money move, and you can almost hear the expectation humming in the stadium lights, but then you look across and it's Modric, Croatia's metronome, still ticking, still pulling strings like he's got the remote control. That $93 million tag is heavy, but it can turn into jet fuel if Gordon starts fast and fearless. And then there's Modric, Croatia's living legend, still gliding around like time's afraid to tackle him. Modric at 40, cap 99. Honestly, that's not a career, that's a monument, and he's one game from a double-century roar. Perisic at wingback is a crafty twist, and with Musa up top, Croatia have got that one chance, one-cut danger written all. Dallas is booming, isn't it? Big screens, big noise, big swagger, the whole place shouting, "Welcome to America." And there's Dalek with the handshake, but you can feel it. This one's been circled in red ink, the kind of opener that can set a whole tournament on fire. They've had to stew and watch everyone else take their first swing, and that can either sharpen you or shake you. Once tonight's done, the tournament stops being a postcard and turns into a knife fight. Every point suddenly feels priceless. And there it is, we're off in Dallas, a packed house, and the volume is already climbing. England in all white, trying to stamp their authority early, because from here on out, it's not stories anymore, it's survival.
With the book hidden, I'm watching the tape. England is still the crowded trade, led by that 1.67 in MR whale. So upside can grind, but downside can gap if sentiment turns. The real tell is the size leaning against Croatia. Big short.
Croatia just keep punching above their weight, don't they? Tiny nation, massive heart, and they've made a habit of crashing the late rounds like they own the place. Another semi in Qatar too, so England know this isn't nostalgia, this is a live threat. England's rise has been real, but that's the cruel part. When you get close, the misses hurt twice as much. 2 Euro finals that slipped away, then Qatar ends early. You can feel the urgency now, like they're playing with a clock ticking in their heads. 2 golden generations staring at the same empty space on the shelf, that last line in the story, the trophy that makes it all mean something. And England have hit the reset button with Tuchel because nearly doesn't pay the rent at a World Cup. IMO, England have swapped nearly men for Tuchel to chase the trophy. Give us the market reaction. Is this a high-risk turnaround play or a blue-chip upgrade?
With no book and no prince, this is basically trading in the dark. Spreads can widen, and any headline becomes the referee's whistle that moves everything. In these moments, sentiment leads price, and the first real order flow sets the tone like the opening tackle. Book's back and it's still thin. England's sitting odds are 5.8, 0.59, but the real top bid showing 0.01 tells you support is flimsy if sellers hit it. Meanwhile, those 0.99 walls on Croatia and the draw look like placeholder offers. Market makers keeping the rope tight for a sudden snap.
Yeah, England tried to be cute at the back, and Croatia said nope and turned it into instant pressure. Classic warning shot. Dalic has that calm, poker face authority since 2018. His teams just know how to hang around and make you suffer. Here it comes, Croatia loading up that back post like it's rush hour, trying to screen Pickford and turn the 6-yard box into a mosh pit. England have to win the first contact because one loose bounce here and it's instant panic stations.
Even with the book blank again, the positioning is loud. England's got the whale long at 0.59, while Croatia's got massive bearish exposure up at 0.83, 0.84. That's a classic crowded favorite setup, steady until one shock, then...
They did exactly what they promised. Ball arcing to the back stick, and England just about survived the scramble as it skids away to safety. That's Croatia's little set-piece trap, and even when it doesn't bite, it leaves teeth marks. Yeah, England's defenders got dragged like magnets to the near post, and suddenly the back post is wide open. Croatia nearly nick it there. Šutalo just couldn't twist his body enough to keep it down, but that's a big early alarm bell.
We're seeing liquidity evaporate on England. Bid depth just got cut in half while price hasn't moved, which screams fragile favorite. Croatia ticking up a cent is like the underdog winning a couple of tackles early. It doesn't score yet, but it changes the crowd's nerve.
Croatia just nudge it away, and England have to hustle back. No time to admire the scenery out here. Matawak doing the dirty work, snapping into the recovery like a midfielder with a point to prove. Bit of a flashpoint. Konsa flattened, no whistle, then Harisic down 2, ref letting it run. Feels like a market volatility moment. Physicality spiking early could set the tone.
Totally. When the ref swallows the whistle, it's like the market maker stepping back and letting volatility breathe. That kind of early physicality usually widens the spread in win odds fast on the next big chance, because everyone starts pricing in chaos.
19 at the back and Modric at 40 on the ball. Croatia are literally playing the full timeline out here, and Konsa just muscled him off it. That's proper defending, no panic, just pure strength and timing. 19-year-old Fuskovic thrown into the furnace, and Modric still conducting at 40 like he owns the place. What a contrast. Konsa stands him up and wins it with sheer power. That's England saying, not today, maestro. IMO England are rotating like a portfolio. Rice dropping into left back, James inverting, wide men stretching it. Feels like a tactical rebalancing mid-game. What's your take on that kind of risk management on the pitch? Kane just whips it out to Gordon, and suddenly England are stretching the pitch like elastic. Snap it and you're in. Those fullbacks stepping inside into the pockets, O'Reilly and James, that's a proper chess move to overload midfield and open lanes.
England just ticked down a cent, and that's the market saying possession isn't points. The draw and Croatia books are getting stacked on the offer side, like both teams parking a bus of liquidity, so any real chance could rip prices through thin air fast.
Pickford's practically playing quarterback out there, barking orders and pointing like he's got a headset on. You can see what the coach wants. Get the shape right, get the distances right, because one sloppy gap and Croatia will pounce.
We're basically frozen at 58% for England, but the bid depth is creeping back up. Buyers are defending that 0.57 line like it's a one-goal lead. Still, with heavy offers sitting above, it'll take a clean breakaway moment to punch through. Even without the full book, the tape's loud. England-Wales are still the main story, but you've got fresh draw buying around 0.27. That screams this could grind. And those Croatia bears up 0.83, are basically fading any upset rally before.
Pickford strolling out like he owns the postcode, 20 yards from goal and not a flicker of panic. That's confidence bordering on cheeky, and it tells the back line, breathe, reset, we're in control. Pickford's out there again, cool as you like, almost daring the press to come and have a go. When your keeper's that high, it squeezes the pitch and lets England push up. One misstep, though, and it's heart-and-mouth stuff. That one's just a fraction too long, and Madueke can't quite keep it alive, so close to sparking something. And yeah, you can feel England nursing Saka carefully. When an Achilles is grumbling, you don't gamble, you manage. What a moment for him. Club heroics to the biggest stage. That's the dream pipeline. You can almost see the confidence from that title run in his stride, but the World Cup spotlight is a different kind of heat, isn't it?
There's the slip, England down 256-57, and that's momentum turning into a midfield stalemate. Lots of running, not enough shots. With that massive ask stack still overhead, buyers need a real chance-created catalyst, or this drifts toward the draw like a game.
Absolutely. First group game nerves are real. Nobody wants to be the headline for the wrong reason. England are keeping it tidy, choosing safety over sparkle, just trying to let the rhythm come before they start twisting the knife. That run had a bit of bite. Reece James charging like a train down the right. But they hit the brakes, recycle it, keep the temperature steady. England are saying, we'll pick the lock when we're ready, not forcing the door.
Whoa, Croatia and draw bid depth just fell off a cliff. That's liquidity pulling back like a crowd going quiet before a big moment. England pops back to 59%, but with thin bids elsewhere, any shock headline swings this market fast and ugly.
Oof, that's a gift you don't want to wrap. One loose touch and suddenly the crowd inhales. Whether it bobbled or he just overcooked it, England will sniff blood here and try to turn that mistake into a warning shot. England win the first corner after a scrappy clipped ball and a quick shot, momentum swing. Any quick market pressure analogy for early set-piece danger? Croatia coughing it up in midfield when they've committed numbers. Modric turnover leading to England pressure and a corner. Any quick over-leveraged analogy for this risk profile? Modric coughs it up and England win a corner. Croatia look overcommitted in transition. Feels like a market over-leveraged on the upside. One turnover and it's panic stations. Your take? Rice over it now. Outswinger with a bit of venom, and you can see the shirts bunching like it's rush hour at the penalty spot. One clean run, one flick, and suddenly Croatia are in a proper scramble here. We've got a penalty for England. Huge swing moment. Give me your market crash or rally take on how one whistle can flip momentum instantly. Absolutely, Amo. One whistle and the whole stadium reprices in a heartbeat, spreads blown wide, and Kane over the spot is like blue chip confidence under pressure, but one keeper's guess and the mood flips like a flash crash.
England's probability just leaked from 76% to 72%, and you can see why. Bid depth collapsed while the sell side stacked up, so it's a little nervy favorite tape right now. Croatia and draw still have massive overhead supply, but if England don't convert this moment, that drift can accelerate.
Modric's experience can't save you if you don't check that shoulder. One lazy glance and suddenly it's chaos in the box. Matic nicks in like a thief at closing time, and Croatia are left praying the keeper turns hero.
Spot on. This is a flight to quality trade with a shaky tape underneath, and you can see traders already widening the spread. If Kane scores, it's a clean breakout. If he's saved, it's a stop-loss cascade and instant de-risking.
Kane's record from the spot is like a blue chip with a tiny wobble lately. 3 misses this season is real volatility, and Lubakovic's shootout aura feels like a circuit breaker moment. One save and the whole match sentiment flips. Here we go, Kane on the spot, and you can feel the whole stadium holding its breath with him. Lubakovic has got that not today aura in shootouts, but if Harry catches it clean, the net might rip before the keeper even blinks. Massive moment. Kane's pen saved, and he's pleading the keeper was off the line. VAR check incoming. Give us your market reaction take. Pressure, psychology, and how momentum swings after a blue chip star misses.
VAR check is like a trading halt after a flash crash. Everyone freezes, spreads widen, and emotion takes the wheel. Missed pen dents the blue chip aura, but if VAR overturns it, you get a violent short squeeze back into England. If not, it's capitulation.
For this moment, it's football on a knife edge. One toe, one whistle, and the whole match swings like a pendulum. You can see Kane trying to stay ice cold, but the stadium's heartbeat is doing sprints. Retake given. VAR just hit the reset button like a halted stock reopening with a gap. This is pure whiplash psychology. Croatia feel robbed, England get a second bite, and the momentum candle could flip in one kick.
Exactly. VAR's basically a trading halt, and now we're reopening with everyone repricing emotion, not fundamentals. Croatia's tilt risk spikes, England's got a free option, but if Kane misses again, it's a full-blown confidence crash.
Retake confirmed. This is the ultimate whipsaw. One frame, one toe, and the whole price of the match reprices instantly. Crowd stunned, Croatia feel robbed, England get a second bite like a reopened auction. Here we go, round two. VR's dragged everyone through the washing machine and spat them back on the spot. Keeper's been caught creeping, but Kane's built for this pressure. You can feel the stadium holding its breath like it's underwater. This is pure mind games now. Does Kane change the script or double down and dare the keeper to blink first? The run-up tells you everything and the crowd's gone pin drop silent. Take two. Here we go. IMO. That retaken penalty drama is like a second chance at a trade. Market psychology swings.
Yeah, that's compounding in real time. Small edges repeated under pressure turn into a track record the market trusts. Once a striker becomes reliable yield, defenders and keepers start pricing in inevitability, and that's when the premium sticks. Absolutely. On a redo, the first outcome becomes information, so everyone overreacts and the pressure shifts to the taker like a striker stepping up for a second free kick. It's a momentum coin flip. Confidence can double, or it can crumble in public.
No stutter, no drama, just a straight, ruthless run-up, and he hammers the same corner like he's signing his name. That's Kane basically saying, guess again, and now he's nudging history's door, one goal off Lineker's World Cup mark for England. IMO, Kane just took the same penalty twice. No hesitation, same corner, pure conviction. That's like doubling down on a trade, and it actually hits. Talk to me about that psychology under pressure.
Exactly. Same corner is the trader saying, my read is right, and refusing to flinch. And that conviction can steamroll the keeper's mind like a momentum breakout. But it's high wire stuff. Miss there, and you're the guy who averaged up at the top.
IMO, Kane's penalty is like a blue chip dividend. No stutter, no risk, just cashing in, and you can feel the momentum swing instantly. How do you read that psychological market shift after a keeper guesses right and still loses? Modric coughing it up there, rare as a quiet stadium, and suddenly England can smell blood again. But we've seen this movie in 2018. They struck early and still got dragged into deep water, so the next 5 minutes are absolutely massive. Exactly, Amo. Once the net ripples, the chessboard gets flipped and it turns into street football with suits on. Croatia will start biting, England will start sprinting, and suddenly every tackle feels like a headline waiting to happen. Croatia's build-up's been a bit wobbly. Yeah, 1 minute blunt, the next minute pulling a rabbit out of the hat late on. But that's the danger with them. You think they're flat, then Modric clicks a pass and the whole stadium holds its breath. That's the worry, isn't it? England cruising can feel lovely until someone finally lands a punch. Croatia won't care about the warm-ups. They'll test the nerve, the legs, and the patience, and we'll find out fast if England's been coasting or cooking. That Colombia comeback showed they've got a bit of steel, but this is a different furnace altogether. And look at Novotnina, slippery as an eel in a bucket. He wriggles free, and suddenly Croatia are asking questions again. We've got a potential pullback on Muzak. Ref's decision pending, crowd roaring, feels like a VAR flashpoint. Jump in with your market volatility take if this turns controversial.
Yep, VR moments are like an earnings whisper hitting the tape, spreads widen, everyone cancels orders, and you get that air pocket move. If it goes against the crowd, expect a quick whipsaw. First emotion, then the smart money fades it. We're back online and it's telling. England still holds the high ground at 77%, but depth thinned across the board. Classic post-scare liquidity hangover. Draw bids clustering up at 0.5 looks like a little defensive hedging, not a real momentum shift.
England breathe again. VAR's done its job and the protest can cool down, but that was a proper warning flare. Musa nearly spins and snaps it left-footed, and you can feel Croatia sniffing those wide channels like sharks around the ropes. Bellingham doing the dirty work in his own area. Love that from a midfielder. Sleeves rolled up. Kane kills it dead like it's glued to his boot, and now you can sense the switch flicking. That next pass has danger written all over it. Majweek just put Vardy on skates there, hips swiveling, defenders guessing it's street football at top speed. He shapes to bend it, and you're already halfway out your seat. But Vukcevic throws himself in like a human sandbag. Massive block. Kane's barking orders, and you can see why. His brain is 2 passes ahead of everyone else. He drops into that little pocket like a safe deposit box, and suddenly England have runners flying past him like trains leaving the station. IMO! England are piling on pressure, corners stacking up like compound interest. Any quick take on how sustained pressure like this is like a market squeeze, and who benefits most when momentum keeps building? IMO, set pieces are basically football's dividends. Declan Rice and Arsenal cashing in all season from dead balls. Give us your market take. Why are these fixed income moments suddenly deciding matches? Rice whips that outswinger with venom, and James climbs like he's got springs in his boots, but it just sails past his forehead. Then it's pinball in the crowd. Anderson swings through traffic and bang, blocked again. Bodies everywhere in that 6-yard chaos. England have settled now, but those opening seconds were like a fire drill. Croatia had them scrambling for exits. Mason Harris goes up to claim it and wins the throw, and you can feel England trying to grab the tempo by the collar.
This is classic late-game hedging. Draw bid depth is ballooning while England's ask side thickens, so upside gets capped unless there's a clean breakthrough. England's still the favorite, but the crowd's buying insurance like it's stoppage time and nobody trusts.
That early Croatian squeeze had England wobbling, but look at them now, hogging the ball like it's theirs by right. And Tuchel wants it lighter, quicker, less handbrake football, but you can see the idea, the tempo's starting to fizz. Did you catch Kane there, dropping in like a center half, spraying it out, pure quarterback stuff? That rotation in midfield is the trigger. Rice sees the lane, the whole shape tilts, and suddenly England look like they've got gears Croatia can't match. Kane dropping deep and Rice pushing on. It's a beautiful little seesaw, and it makes England so hard to pick up. If Kane starts pinging those diagonals like he did in Germany, defenders will be backpedaling before they've even checked their mirrors. IMO, Tuchel's got England rotating like a well-oiled portfolio. Kane dropping as a 6, Rice pushing on, wingers tucking in. Give us your quick take. Is this controlled risk or over-leveraging the shape? Pickford barking orders like a foreman on a building site. No, not that side. Switch it. That's Tuchel's fingerprints right there. England are trying to build with discipline, and you love seeing the keeper acting like the extra coach. Tuchel just tore into Pickford for not playing the instructed outlet. Proper boss-employee moment. Got any quick CEO dressing down market analogy for the stream? Tuchel's prowling that technical area like a man guarding his wallet. No sitting, no smiling, just standards. And Jeff's matching him stride for stride. It's like the touchline's got its own midfield battle going on. You can feel the urgency seeping into every pass. Yeah, when Rice looks up and there's nothing on, that's where adversity starts whispering, can you stay brave? Can you stay connected? Tuchel's teams live on solutions in those moments, not excuses. That's the real test when the easy lanes disappear. Those friendly losses don't really count for much. This is where the pressure bites and reputations get tested. That ball down the channel had a bit of hope in it, but it just runs away like it's late for a train. England reset, but you can feel they want that killer pass. That's the question, isn't it? When the punch lands, do they wobble or swing back? Novakovic just says nope and launches it into the night. Pure survival football. Now Sudik's underneath it, and this next touch could flip the whole mood. That's a nasty little collision on the drop. Rice arriving like a freight train, and you can hear the crowd suck air in. If there's any edge in this game, moments like that light the fuse. And Friday on Fox, the U.S. back on. Circle it because that one's got sparks written all over. That's a proper appointment viewing. U.S. versus Australia. Group stage tension where every tackle feels like a referendum. Seattle will be rocking, and you know the early kickoff won't stop anyone from bringing the noise. Get the coffee on and the nerves ready. IMO, quick one. This nice ace shout and Orange County mention feels like a momentum swing. Give us your take on how a big highlight play can shift confidence like a market catalyst. That's the kind of scenario that turns a match into a tightrope. Win and you're through. Blink and you're sweating on the final day. The U.S. have never sealed it early in this format, so you can bet the players will feel that history tugging at their sleeves. This is where
England's price is steady, but the bid depth is leaking while that 0.79 offer stack stays heavy. Buyers are getting tired legs in midfield. If we see one more shove toward the draw, it's not panic, it's just traders parking the bus and protecting a lead. Absolutely. Those borderline calls are like a headline algos misread. Liquidity vanishes, spreads widen, and everyone marks to fear for a minute. The team that stays composed is the one buying the dip while the crowd's still yelling at the ref.
Perishic's the kind of winger who lives for chaos. He wants that ball early so he can isolate his fullback and start a fire down the flank. And with all those legends watching, you can feel the spotlight getting hotter by the second. Bellingham turns on the Jets and suddenly the pitch feels twice as small. England are smelling blood here. Great bite from Reece James to snuff out the danger, but that keeper charging out is pure panic button stuff. Oh, he had the whole stadium in his pocket there. One of those surges that makes defenders look like they're running in sand. Just needed that final touch of magic, but listen to the crowd. They've already crowned the moment even without the finish.
England's still priced like the favorite, but the book's getting top-heavy. Bid depth is sliding, and that ask wall is massive across the board, so upside looks capped. Croatia, 86.7% is basically a lottery ticket with terrible liquidity. England's price is creeping up, but look at that tape. Wales loaded around 0.58 to 0.60, and now we're 0.78, 0.79, so you're in late chasers territory. With those giant 0.93 offers overhead, it's like...
That's the thing with Jude. Big nights don't scare him. They switch him on like floodlights at the Bernabeu. Kane trying to latch onto it on the move, and you can feel England winding the spring. One clean connection, and this place erupts.
England's edging 279%, but the real tell is positioning. That monster long from 0.59 is sitting on a huge unrealized win, so any wobble can trigger profit-taking fast. Croatia and the draw are still all offer side weight. Classic nobody believes.
Gordon wriggling free like he's got soap on his boots. Lovely little escape, but that final angle just runs away from him, and you can hear the groan. England are sniffing blood. They just need that killer pass. Those rotations are slick. They're swapping lanes like a well-drilled pit crew, and it's pulling defenders out of shape. And that replay angle, oof, you can see the gap clear as day. That's the kind of detail VAR lives for, isn't it? IMO. That retake call feels like a market-moving decision. One whistle and the whole game reprices. Give us your take. Is that regulatory intervention fair, or does it distort the contest? Harry Kane again, inevitable like taxes and stoppage time drama. 80 for England is outrageous, and you can feel Croatia wobble a bit now. One moment of doubt and Kane's already got his name on the score sheet. Ha! That pricing plan sounds like a midfield press. Chaotic, relentless, and nobody knows who's marking who. But right now, England's the one applying the pressure, and Croatia are the ones looking for the customer service line. That's the kind of clarity England need in the final third. One plan, one touch, bang. $30 a line sounds like a bargain compared to what defenders pay when Kane gets a sniff in the box. IMO, tell me that's not value investing.
It's decent headline pricing, but it's classic carrier playbook. The real ARPU shows up in fees, add-ons, and multi-line upsells. Think of it like a cheap ticket that still charges you for the seat, the bag, and the water.
IMO, he's talking predictions in the palm of your hand. Only keepers can use theirs. Give us a quick market-style take. Who's the safe bet? Who's the risky punt right now? That's a proper crossover. Captain America and Jeep, all muscle and momentum like a fullback bombing forward on the overlap. But remember, only the keeper gets to use the hands. Everyone else has to do their heroics with their feet.
England's back up to 79%, and the bid depth is still solid, but that 0.79 offer stack is basically a defensive line. Hard to break without a catalyst. Draw liquidity is quietly building on the ask, so the market's hedging like it's expecting a scrappy second half.
Salute to them, absolutely. Those captains set the tone like a skipper lifting his team when legs are heavy. But on this pitch, the only medals are earned in 90 minutes, and the crowd can smell a moment coming. Van Dijk steps up like a skyscraper in orange, calm, commanding, daring anyone to test him, and then bang, Sweden unleashed thunder, but the keeper says not today, a fingertip of destiny keeping it alive. IMO, with all these World Cup upsets and big-name clashes, does that kind of volatility mirror markets? Do sponsors and broadcasters actually benefit when giants wobble?
All three books just went to zero. Looks like a halt, suspension, or market reset. Can you frame it like a VAR stoppage? Crowd freezes, then we get a sudden repricing when play resumes.
Oh, Jeff, it was pure chaos in the best way. Tempo spiking, tackles flying, and every second felt like a coin flip for those massive points. You could see the nerves and the belief colliding out there like two trains on the same track.
England's still the crowded trade. Look at those monster longs built around 0.59, so any wobble can turn into a fast, panicky D-risk. And that 0.79 ask wall is a proper parked bus. Until it's cleared, upside feels like grind.
Absolutely. These breaks are basically football's sneaky timeouts, and the smart coaches treat them like a pit stop. Quick tweaks, fresh instructions, and back out at full throttle. You can feel momentum swing just from a 60-second huddle. That's the chessboard right there. Daleks goes straight to Modric like he's tapping the king on the shoulder and saying, "Calm it, control it now." If Croatia can steady that midfield, England's pressure starts to feel like waves hitting a rock. Exactly. No ball, no control, and right now, England are treating it like it's theirs by deed and title. Croatia's got to bite as a unit when they press, because half-pressing just opens the door and England stroll through like they own the hallway. That's the nightmare. Every duel feels like Croatia are turning up to a 2-on-1 fight. They've got to compress the space and force England into longer passes, because if you keep letting that spare man pop free, you're chasing ghost all half.
Now you're seeing liquidity pull back on England. Bid depth got chopped hard, so the favorites' price is stable, but the footing is slippery. Meanwhile, the draw book looks ghosty with that 0.96 top ask, like someone left a decoy defender out wide.
Pickford with that cheeky disguise, trying to spring Gordon in a flash. Croatia read it just enough to snuff the danger. Now Modric is trying to stitch something together, but England are swarming like bees the moment that ball lands. Oh, that's goosebump territory. Over 40 and still out there mixing it with the kids. That's pure football romance. You can't buy that kind of story, and every touch he gets now feels like the whole stadium leans in to watch. What a club that is, Mila Ronaldo, and now you're talking Jaco maybe knocking on the door too. Imo, that's like blue chip longevity in human form. How do you even price experience like that when the legs are screaming? Croatia shifting into that back three. You can feel them trying to lure England in and slip the first press risky, but it can sing if the angles are right. And Mia Drag tying his boots in the middle of it all. Mate, hurry up. The game's not waiting for your laces. Now that's the tweak. Fullbacks creeping higher, trying to give Šušić and Baturina a little pocket to breathe in, because they've been passengers so far. If those two start getting touches facing forward, England's backline suddenly has questions to answer. Šušić tries to punch it on, but it just runs away. Baturina's chasing shadows, and that's a killer when you're trying to build rhythm. But you're right, there are teams at this World Cup who live for that one loose touch, and then it's a lightning strike the other way. Ooh, Croatia sniffing an opening there, trying to cut it back inside. Vukcevic showing no fear at all for a teenager, but England slammed the door with Kane doing the dirty work, and you can hear the momentum groan as it swings back. That free kick is pure escape hatch for England. Croatia were inches from turning that into chaos. And Vukcevic stepping out from center back onto Anderson, that's a statement press. Brave, aggressive, and if he mistimes it, it's a red carpet run to... Anderson's heavy touch invites the tackle, and Vukcevic says, "Thank you very much," and nicks it. Classic press reward. But you're spot on. He hesitates, tries to shift it onto the favored foot, and at this level, that half second is a lifetime. And just like that, the moment evaporates. Football's cruel, isn't it? Pickford looked caught between coming and staying, a little wobble in the decision-making, and Croatia will smell that uncertainty like sharks in the water. Stones just launches it, bypassing the midfield like a quarterback under pressure. Vardiol's there to meet it, strong in the air, and you can feel Croatia trying to turn that clearance into a quick counter. This is getting scrappy and spicy. Imo, Vardiol's story is wild. Mask at the last World Cup, then a broken shin coming into this tournament. Give us the risk management angle, how teams ensure and value a player when fitness is a question mark mid-tournament. What a story. Mask on, nose broken, then the shin goes, and still he's back out here. That's pure warrior stuff. Sudic spreads it wide, and now Harris is in a foot race to keep it alive. You can feel the tempo lifting down that flank. Harris squares up James, then it's switched out to the far side. Croatia stretching England like elastic. Zanitic whips one in, Gordon's tracking back, and Kane's retake has England in front, but it's a thin lead and Croatia are still prowling. Oh, that heavy touch from Stadicic. He's given them a sniff, and you know England will pounce if the next pass is sloppy. Imo, you feel that hush? Momentum swung like a market after bad earnings. Croatia pressing, England wobbling. Give us your sentiment shift take in 10 seconds. Yeah, you can feel it. Hydration break, and suddenly the rhythm flips like someone changed the channel. Modric picks up that loose ball, and the stadium goes quiet because everyone senses he's about to paint something on that canvas. IMO England break after that long Croatia spell. Matic whips in a beauty. Big penalty shout while play continues. Feels like a momentum swing. Give me your market correction take on this scramble.
Yeah, Leo, that's a classic correction. Croatia had the narrative, then one England burst forces everyone to reprice risk in real time. Penalty shouts are like surprise CPI prints. Even if nothing's called, volatility spikes and shorts start covering fast. England snaps right back to 0.77.78 and win probably 79%. That's the market exhaling after the scare. But notice the draw bid depth got clipped hard. Traders are rotating back to the favorite, like a team regaining shape after a frantic scramble.
IMO, chaos here, penalty appeal, Bellingham down, everyone stopped, but the ball never went out. Feels like a market halt that never happened. What do you make of that kind of assumed whistle moment? IMO, we've got chaos. Possible penalty on Bellingham, everyone stopped, but the ball never went out. Feels like a market flash crash moment. Uncertainty, players freezing, ref under pressure. Give us your take on how momentum swings when everyone hesitates.
Totally. When everyone hesitates, momentum doesn't pause, it transfers to the side still playing, like a flash crash where only the fastest orders get filled. That uncertainty widens the spread on every decision, and suddenly one clean touch becomes a breakaway.
IMO, we've got a classic market freeze moment. Everyone stopped, ball still live, and VAR sniffing around a Bellingham penalty shout. Jump in. How do you read these sudden swings when the ref's decision can flip the whole game like a shock earnings report? Oh, the whole stadium held its breath there. Bellingham down, everyone freezing like someone hit pause, but the ball's still alive and kicking. For me, it's not quite enough for the ref to point to the spot. Jude looks like he's just nicked at it and then felt the brush. England... Yeah, that's the key. There's contact, but it's not the kind that screams penalty, and England will breathe again. But Croatia coming out of that break with a proper spell on the ball, then coughing it up, that's a gift, and England have to pounce now. IMO, Croatia's turnovers are killing them. England's man-to-man press is like a sudden market sell-off. Give us a quick risk management take. How do teams hedge against this kind of high press without going long ball panic?
Exactly. That press is like a margin call. Every extra touch is leverage you can't afford. The hedge is quick 1- and 2-touch outlets and switching the point of attack, not hoofing it. Long ball panic just hands possession back like selling at the lows.
Gordon's got that fearless sparkle, hasn't he? Running straight at his man like he's late for a train. Young player of the year and already playing like he belongs on this stage. Only his 6th cap, but he's asking big questions down that flank. You can see the disguise in the hips. Looks one way, wants to slip it the other, but the pass just won't quite sing yet. Gordon's engine is roaring, though, and that little chase might have saved O'Reilly from a desperate tug and a nasty booking.
Draw just firmed back up to 0.1 CN while England's bid depth thinned. Money's getting a touch more cautious, like the favorite dropping into a low block to protect the lead. Croatia's still priced like a long shot, but any one big chance and this book will gap fast.
Pickford's out there like a sweeper with a goalkeeper's gloves. Always a heartbeat from chaos. You love the bravery until it's one mistimed touch and the whole stadium gasps. Croatia will be sniffing that space behind him now. Pickford nearly gifts one under pressure. Classic high-risk decision-making. Give us the market analogy. When does bravery become over-leverage? Pickford trying to be clever there is playing with fire. Croatia smell it, and suddenly it's wave after wave. Great recovery header at the back post, but that second ball cough-up is exactly the invitation you can't hand them. Bellingham and Kane look just a touch out of sync, and Croatia are... That's the moment. Gordon's screaming at the far stick with Akers, and the tempo just hits the brakes. You can feel the crowd groan as Matawake checks back instead of whipping it in. Now Reese has to make something happen from a standing start.
We're basically unchanged on the headline. England still pinned 8-0-7-8-0.79, but the draw book just got heavier again, which screams time decay pressure if no goal arrives. Croatia's bid side is paper...
England piling on pressure, second balls, aerial duels, Croatia just clearing their lines. Feels like a market at resistance. One more push and it breaks. What's your take on momentum swings like this?
Now you're seeing a little uh-oh hedge. England slips a tick to 770.78 while draw, and Croatia bid depth both jump. Money's buying insurance as pressure builds. That's the market sensing a potential counterpunch. If England don't score soon, the draw...
Absolutely. This one's got that pendulum feel, doesn't it? Swinging end to end with tiny tweaks deciding everything. Croatia are starting to knit passes and squeeze the space, but England on the break look like a match to dry grass. One loose touch, and it's sirens. Imo, we've got another big penalty shout after Madueke hesitates and cuts. Absolutely, Imo. One clean strike and the whole price chart redraws itself in real time. England had the ball, but Croatia had the killer instinct. And that top corner finish is the kind of one candle that wipes out an hour of control. Thinks it, hesitation, the cutback, and suddenly that counter window slams shut and Gordon's run goes begging. And that Pickford's full stretch and it still kisses the top corner. When it's hit like that, you're just a spectator in gloves. The technique is pure. Opens the body, wraps it, and the net ripples like it's been punched. That's a statement goal. That swings from a Croatia surge. Numbers flooding the box, cutback after cutback, and a trailer absolutely rifles one through traffic. England suddenly look rocked and pinned deep. No red, just a massive chance/shot that's flipped the pressure and the pricing. There's your regime shift. Croatia just smashed in a top corner equalizer off a cutback and layoff. Classic late runner arriving with venom. Momentum flips instantly. England rocked, Croatia suddenly strutting.
That equalizer shock is still rippling. England's been marked down hard to the low 0.50s while draw and Croatia both catch a bid. It's a momentum game now. If England don't respond quickly, that draw price keeps creeping like a team sensing extra time. Now you're seeing the favorite really wobble. England's implied drops to the mid-50s while Croatia's creeps up toward 20%, and that's pure game state repricing. The book's still heavy on the offer, so any fresh bad news could slice through bids like a counterattack down.
That's the killer detail. The pass arrives with perfect pace, like rolling it onto his favorite foot. Switch of play stretches them, then the pause, and suddenly the first-time hit is inevitable. England can't reset fast enough, and Croatia smelled. That finish was a top corner gap up. Pickford gets fingertips, but the move had too much quality. Feels like a young asset breaking out, 23, coming off a big season, and suddenly the market believes.
Totally. Once that kind of strike hits, confidence trades like momentum factor. Everyone stops fading and starts chasing. England's long holders are suddenly playing defense, like a team protecting a lead they don't have anymore, and spreads widen fast.
Pickford gets fingertips, but that's like trying to stop a bullet with a postcard. Sometimes you just applaud the strike. And Como's fairy tale is spilling onto the international stage here. Ljubakovic hoovers it up and Croatia look hungry for a second. Imo, Croatia's kids are cashing in instantly. Como fairy tale, 22-year-olds on debut making assists. Feels like a breakout IPO. Early investors smiling. England suddenly paying the premium. What's your take on that new talent surge? That's a real punch to the ribs for England. 10 straight clean sheets and suddenly the streak's in pieces. You can feel the stadium shift. Croatia believe, England wobble for a moment, and the next 5 minutes are absolutely massive. Perisic is a man possessed. He's hunting like a wolf across the whole pitch, and that burst of pressure forces England to rush everything. Those little sprints are the ones that win big games. Amo would call it pure high-intensity investment. Yeah, it's that veteran alchemy. When the old heads set the temperature, everyone else starts boiling with them. You can't spreadsheet that, Amo. It's pure mentality, and it drags a whole team into the fight, whether they like it or not. Bocchini's not admiring his own work. He's straight back into the trenches, snapping at ankles and nicking the ball like it owes him money. And he buys the foul too. Clever stuff. Just slows England's rhythm and lets Croatia breathe. Here's the real exam now. First time they've been punched. How do they answer under Thomas? Do they stay calm and play through it? Or do they start forcing it and giving Croatia more oxygen? This next spell tells you everything. Exactly. Qualifying was a smooth motorway, and now they've hit cobblestones with Croatia snapping at their heels. Friendlies don't replicate this kind of heat, this kind of noise, this kind of consequence. Let's see if England's composure is real or just rehearsal. You're spot on. This is the kind of opening that hardens you fast, like steel in a furnace. Croatia won't give you a free breath, so if England can survive this and still play their football, they'll grow up 10 years in 10 minutes. Now, England have to show they've got a second gear because Croatia are starting to boss the tempo and you can feel the tide turning. Those early English waves have calmed and Croatia are surfing the momentum right into halftime. England need a spark. Absolutely, this match is breathing in and out like a heavyweight fight with momentum changing hands. England landed the early jabs, Croatia shook it off and started throwing combinations. Next punch could be the one that leaves a mark. It's been a proper pendulum game. 1 minute England look in control, the next Croatia are dictating the rhythm like they own the place. You can feel the tension building because one clean moment could flip the whole story again. Matic in the middle, snapping into it, and suddenly Croatia are back on the front foot again. England can't let those second balls keep dropping their way. The tempo's jagged now, little sparks everywhere, and it feels like something's about to ignite. And that's the beauty of tournaments. 1 minute you're a footnote, next minute you're on the pitch with the whole nation watching, trying to grab your moment. If he's barely featured before, this is where you earn your name the hard way, under pressure. Kane just hit another milestone, 9th World Cup goal and England's record man. Give us a quick blue chip striker take. Pressure.
Yep, that's pure whiplash. England odds gap higher as offers vanish, and anyone short is sprinting to cover into thin liquidity. For Croatia, conceding twice is like a stop-loss cascade. Belief drains, risk premium jumps, and the comeback gets priced like a long shot.
England win the corner, and you've got to say Anderson's delivery from deep is like a golfer's wedge, drops it right where it hurts. If they make this set piece count, Croatia could be wobbling for the first time in a while. That little no-look around the corner is pure confidence, and it's dragged Croatia into another scramble at the back post. England's corners are like a pinball machine. Maybe not the first hit, but the ricochet is where the danger lives. England's set-piece pressure is like repeated buy orders at a key level. Maybe the first doesn't break it, but the second wave can. Any quick take on how sustained pressure shows up in odds?
Totally. Set pieces are like steady cash flow names. Not flashy, but they keep compounding until the other side cracks. In markets, that's the quality factor. Boring consistency wins titles while the chaos trades blow up on one bad bounce.
Kane crashes in again. England back in front. That's the kind of blue chip moment where the price snaps tighter instantly. Give us the market whiplash and how Croatia's odds just got hammered.
Absolutely, this is a gap and go move. England gets marked up in a heartbeat as sellers yank offers and shorts scramble to cover. Croatia just took another liquidity punch, trading like a distressed name where every rally gets sold immediately.
Kane again, ice in the veins and thunder in the neck. Rice whips it like a corner kick on a string and Croatia switch off for a heartbeat. You can't give that man daylight in the 6-yard area, he'll turn it into headlines. Imo, that Kane set-piece goal is like a blue-chip dividend. One lapse in marking and it pays instantly. You seeing any set-piece premium parallels in markets where consistency beats chaos? Imo, Kane's just hit double digits at the World Cup, record-level consistency. Give us the blue-chip striker take. Is this the kind of reliability markets pay a premium for?
England's basically pinned at 79% with that 0.78, 0.79 quote, and the bid depth's thickening. Buyers are defending the lead like a team killing the clock in the corner. Croatia's still a 5% punt, but that monster-ask depth screams no comeback liquidity.
Kane makes it look like a training ground header. Down, bouncing, unstoppable. 10 World Cup goals now level with Lineker, and England hit back with perfect timing before the break. That's a striker who collects records like souvenirs. Absolutely we do. Because when you're living in that Messi Ronaldo postcode, you're not just in form, you're rewriting expectations. Kane's got that ruthless calm. One sniff, one touch, one headline, and defenders look like Modric coughing it up. Wow, that's like seeing a maestro drop the baton mid-symphony. Croatia will be furious because those are self-inflicted wounds, and AT2-1, every clearance, every second ball feels like it's carrying a brick of pressure. Imo, Kane's basically a blue-chip stock right now. Best striker in the world talk, 60-goal season territory. How do you value a player like that in market terms when he's breaking records and expectations? And that's the thing. Kane's not fireworks every touch. He's a metronome with a sledgehammer finish. England nick it back, and suddenly you feel that surge like the crowd's leaning forward in unison, waiting for the next punchline.
That draw bid just evaporated. Depth collapses from 56K to 8K, so the hedge crowd pulled their orders and momentum swings back to the favorite. England's still priced like a heavy chalk 8.78, 0.79, but with thinner bids,
That's why he's a nightmare to plan for. He's not just a finisher, he's a full-service striker. 1 minute he's heading it away off his own box. Next he's dropping in and threading passes like a number 10 and a number 9.
Oh, this is pure volatility expansion. VAR is the circuit breaker, and now everyone reprices in real time. A retake is like getting a second earnings print. Nerves spike, spreads widen, and one strike can flip the whole tape in seconds. With the book feed down, I'm watching the tape through the whales. That massive England long at 0.59 is the anchor, and the Croatia bears up at 183 are basically selling insurance. When data goes dark, spreads can widen like...
Oh, I love this. Half the squad hovering like it's a heist movie, everyone pretending it's theirs. Croatia don't know whether to set for curl, dip, or a clever layoff, and that uncertainty is exactly what England want right now.
Yeah, that's a classic risk-on set piece. Everyone crowds the trade, but only one gets the fill. Kane's still the blue chip under pressure because he's repeatable and calm, while the others are the high beta punts if you want a surprise spike.
Imo, we've got a retaken penalty after the keeper's off his line, VR drama, and 5 added minutes. Give me your market volatility take on this pressure moment. Imo, we've got a retaken penalty drama, keeper off his line by a whisker, 5 added minutes, and now it's a 2-man standoff over the ball. Feels like a high-stakes earnings call. Who takes the risk and who blinks? We've got a retaken penalty after the keeper crept off his line. High stakes, 5 added minutes, and the taker mind games are wild. Give me your market volatility take on this pressure moment.
Yep, this is a volatility spike with liquidity pulling back like a stock into a surprise headline. The retake is a second roll of the dice. If he scores, England rips higher. If he misses, you'll see a nasty gap in panic hedging.
Penalty retake drama. Kane trying mind games. Maurice James steps up, and it's saved. Give me a quick market reaction analogy. Momentum swing, confidence crash, volatility. Oh, it's saved. What a wall in the moment of truth, and you can see the sting ripple through the taker even as he tries to play it cool. That's a gut punch right before the break, and suddenly the keeper's the loudest man in the building. And we're back at that roar from the crowd still hanging in the air, and you can sense the nerves every time it goes near the box. One mistake and it's fireworks again. Kane's earlier moment set the tone, but now it's all about who keeps their head as the ball skips out. Imo, Croatia clawing back again. 2 comebacks in 1 match. Give me a quick market reaction take. Momentum swing, risk on vibes. Who's buying belief right now?
Absolutely, this is pure momentum trade. The underdog tape gets hot and suddenly everyone's chasing belief like a late rally. You can see it in the draw. Croatia bids thickening while England stays priced like a blue chip until the next headline forces a brutal repricing.
Pasalic battling like a man possessed, keeping it alive when it looked dead. Croatia just refused to fold. And that hit comes flying in, bodies everywhere. You can feel the tempo spike like someone's just turned the volume knob to maximum.
Liquidity's thinning on the bid side. England bid depth just slid while the ask stack stays heavy, so upside looks capped unless a real catalyst hits. Draw's top bid jumping back to 0.1 tells you the hedgers are still on the pitch, protecting the scoreline.
That's the story right there. One man sniffing space like a predator and punishing it with ice-cold calm. When you've got time to think, that's when legs go heavy, but he stayed razor sharp and made it look simple. Kane at the corner flag soaking it in. 10 World Cup goals. That's elite company. And you're spot on. That strike wasn't just a number. It was a punch to Croatia's rhythm. A reminder England can land first and land hard.
Now we're seeing the first real tremor. Croatia and the draw are inching up, but the bigger story is England's bid depth collapsing to basically nothing. Liquidity's pulled like defenders backing off in the box. If another scare hits, that 0.79 can gap down.
Kane's back up, but he's got that little hitch in the step. Never a good sign when your talisman's limping. Pasalic has a swing and it whistles wide, and Kane's giving the ref an earful. He's hurt and he's furious. Imo, Croatia's got that late surge DNA. This lead feels like a volatile stock. One headline and it swings. Give us your market sentiment read. Are England stable here, or are we pricing in a comeback?
And just like that, England's bid depth refills to 200K. Buyers step back in and rebuilt the wall, so sentiment snaps back to favorite in control. Croatia and draw drift lower again. That comeback trade is getting benched unless the match throws a fresh shock.
You can feel the tempo dip. Passes just a fraction late, touches a fraction loose, and that's where games get stolen. Modric buys the foul like a master pickpocket, and suddenly Croatia have a chance to breathe and build something dangerous.
Nailed it, Leo. 1 goal is an earnings surprise. The whole probability curve reprices instantly, and the safe favorite trade gets stopped out. You can see the crowd rotate into draw and underdog like a team suddenly pressing high after smelling blood.
We're into that last minute of the half tension now. Every clearance feels like it's got a heartbeat attached to it. Dallas is holding its breath, and you just know someone's itching to sneak a punch in before the whistle. IMO, this is where the group stage turns into a market. Standings, goal difference, jockeying for position, like portfolio rebalancing. Give us your take. Who's buying safety? Who's risking it all going into match day 2?
Exactly, Leo. Match day 2 is pure rebalancing. The leaders buy capital preservation with the draw, while the desperate sides lever up on long shot wins like a Hail Mary on 4th and long. You can see it when draw liquidity thickens and favorites stop getting...
IMO, that goal came out of nowhere, right at the break. Talk about a late market spike. What a roller coaster to the whistle. Croatia dragged themselves level again, and you can feel the stadium shaking with it. That run from deep was the dagger, and the finish had ice in the veins. England will be staring at each other at halftime thinking, how did we... Goal! Out of nowhere, Dallas gets its World Cup moment, and Croatia flipped the script again. That's pure chaos before the break. England's backline was...
Yeah, that equalizer is pure momentum swing. England's win line has leaked to about 49%, while the draw's up mid-30s, so the market's pricing a tighter, nervier second half. With bid depth finally building, any big chance is a fast break that can gap...
England sat absurdly deep, almost 7 at the back, and got punished as Croatia tied it again. It's like parking the bus and still getting a parking ticket. Give me your market take on what happens when you stop pressing and let momentum compound.
That's a real repricing. England slips under 50% and the draw is getting paid up, but the book is still insanely top heavy on the ask side. Tons of sell me 80.99 lottery tickets. Translation, traders expect chaos, but they're...
And that's the handoff back to the studio. Breathless stuff in Dallas. Absolutely breathless. If you're England, you've got to step up and squeeze the ball. If you're Croatia, you're thinking, we've got them right where we want them. IMO, that late Croatia equalizer feels like a market snapback rally. England sat too deep and got punished. Give us your halftime numbers. What's the momentum indicator saying for the second half? That equalizer has flipped the whole mood. Croatia strutting into the break like they own the place. And now all eyes on that Pulisic update, because one fitness report can swing a match like a gust of Texas wind. Second half set up to be fireworks. IMO, quick one. Fox says the World Cup's sponsored by a bank. Give us the market angle on why banks fight for these rights and what it signals about consumer confidence. AMO, Bank of America is in the sponsor slot. Give us the quick market angle. What's the power to do pitch really selling right now? That's the kind of message that fits a World Cup night. Keep knocking, keep believing, because the game rewards the stubborn dreamers. And after that first half chaos, both sides are going to come out asking the big question, who's got the nerve to win it? Bank of America with the big slogan, but the real power tonight is momentum. Who grabs it first after the break? AT22, one brave run, one rash tackle, and the whole story changes in a heartbeat.
England just ticked up to a 0.49 bid and 50% implied. Momentum's nudging their way, but that Bonifacio offer is still a big goalkeeper to beat. Draw support 80.34 is thickening too, so traders are hedging like it's heading for extra time.
Ha! If David's backyard can handle this kind of pressure, get it a stadium license right now. And that brilliant move you're teasing, those are the moments that crack a match wide open. One slick touch and suddenly everyone's chasing shadows. IMO, Bank of America adds his power to do. And David's off to Home Depot for the assist. Give us a quick market style take. Who's the blue chip sponsor play here? And is this DIY World Cup vibe bullish or just branding fluff?
Totally. Buff A's the blue chip anchor here, using the World Cup to signal reliability while nudging everyday spend and card volume. The Home Depot DIY assist vibe is mildly bullish for consumer confidence, but it's mostly brand positioning. More
IMO, that T-Mobile $400 switch offer and 5-year price guarantee line. Give us the market angle, promo spend versus churn, and who wins in the telecom price war right now. That's a full-on ad break hat trick. Rates going up, T-Mobile waiving a transfer fee, and Pepsi pairing with wings like a perfect 1-2. But the real guarantee, if the match stays this tasty, nobody's leaving their seat. Last-minute winner, bang, and your best mate goes from loud to library quiet in a heartbeat. Type it exactly like that, because that's football. One moment you're joking, the next you're swallowing it whole. IMO, we've got to control the chaos moment. Coach losing it, players freelancing. Give me a quick market analogy. Discipline versus momentum traders and how to rein it in.
Exactly. When the coach loses the locker room, that's markets shifting from disciplined allocators to momentum chasers, and spreads get sloppy fast. The fix is the same as football. Tighten the formation with clear risk limits, or you get counterattacked by volatility. England's book is getting cleaner. Bid depth keeps building while the ask side is thinning, so the path of least resistance is still up if buyers stay patient. Draw liquidity just jumped too, which screams hedging, as traders brace for a choppy 0-0 stretch.
What are you doing? I don't think that's a good idea. Come on, 5 minutes, and we're heading into the fourth. This is where legs wobble and minds race. About 3.
Absolutely. VR is the regulator walking onto the pitch.
Kane again, ice in the veins, and Dallas erupts like a rocket launch. You give him a second bite and he'll take the whole meal. Boom, England hit the front, and suddenly it's a track meet out there. IMO, it's 2-2 at the break, momentum swinging like a volatile chart. Give us your market read. Who's overbought, who's about to crash, and what's the smart second half play?
Two-goal whipsaw,
take
and the
a bow
overbought
indeed.
side is
What a
whoever
hit
just
at the
scored
Walker
last because the
Batu.
crowd's
That's pure
chasing
velvet
handles.
with a sting in the
Smart
tail, but now
second half
Kane
play
over
is
a
fade
dead
the
ball.
euphoria,
You can
keep
almost
powder
hear the
dry, and
defenders
trade the
gulping
next
from
clear
here.
break
This
rather
is
than the
danger with a
noise.
capital
Exactly.
IMO. We've
It's
got
like a
big names
liquidity
flying.
provider
Kane,
stepping away
Modric,
for 1
even
second and the
Ibrahimovic
spread
mentions
blows out.
feels like a blue
One
chip
missed
showdown in
assignment and
Dallas.
the
Give us your
market gaps
market
through your
movers take.
level,
Who's the
stops
safe asset
cascade,
and who's the
and
volatile
suddenly you're
pick in this
chasing the
half?
game instead of controlling it.
IMO, VAR drama, and a retaken pen. Keep her off the line. Feels like a market circuit breaker moment. Give me your take on pressure and rules tightening in big tournaments.
England's sell side just thinned out a bit. Ask depth dropped hard, so that 0.5 wall is less intimidating and a squeeze is back on the table. Croatia still looks like a team defending deep with tired legs. Tiny bid support, huge offers overhead, and not...
IMO, Kane's like a blue chip stock. Leave him unmarked and he punishes you instantly. Talk to me. What's the market equivalent of a defender switching off at a set piece?
Now, England's got the opposite problem. Sell liquidity just reloaded at the 0.51. That's a big defensive line parked on the edge of the box. Draw offers are thinning though, so if this stays cagey, the 0-0 trade can creep higher while England struggles to break through.
That's the stuff. Elegant, ruthless, proper football with the gloves off. Kane thunders in like a freight train, and then Perisic, oh please, that's artistry with studs on. You can't coach that kind of swagger. IMO, they're dropping Dallas soccer lore on the broadcast. Give us the quick backstory and any fun parallels to market momentum swings after that wild 4-goal half.
Yeah, Dallas has that anything can happen soccer DNA. Think Old Burn and FC Dallas games where leads evaporate fast in the Texas heat. Market parallel is classic momentum whiplash. One crazy half resets positioning and suddenly everyone's trading the next goal.
IMO, Kane's basically a blue chip stock tonight. Dominant, reliable, moving the whole market. Give us your quick analyst note on how one superstar shifts the momentum like a sector rotation.
Totally. One superstar is like a mega cap dragging the whole index. Flows chase the name, and suddenly the England complex gets bid even if the rest of the lineup's quiet. It's sector rotation in real time. Capital leaves the long shots and piles into the proven finisher. You're seeing the favorite get capped in real time. England bid depth just slipped while that 0.51 wall actually grew, so rallies are running into supply fast. Draw liquidity also thickened on the offer side, which tells you traders are bracing for a slower second.
IMO, quick one. Pulisic fitness update feels like a blue chip risk factor for Friday. How big is that uncertainty in your eyes? And what's the market style way to read a star's availability? What a halftime left turn. Pulisic fitness update 1 minute, then we're into TikTok, dad mechanics, and fishing knots the next. But hey, if he can make an X and fix a tire, maybe he can tape that ankle and still light up Australia. That's pure heart, isn't it? Like a captain putting an arm around a youngster after a rough debut. Football's tactics and trophies are great, but that kind of care is the real glue in the stands and at home. Respect to him, big time.
England just ticked down a notch. Best bid at 0.49 and win prob slipping to 50%, while the sell side ballooned to 38M. That's heavy overhead supply. Feels like a team protecting a 1-goal lead. The crowd's still with them, but the market's pricing nerves.
That's a slick little 1-2 at the counter. 2 croissants and a credit card plug straight out of the ad playbook. Good call, like a teammate shouting, leave it. Only this time it's your wallet doing the running. IMO, Wells Fargo active cash, and just...
Absolutely. When the crowd flips like that, it's a momentum trade. Tight window, big upside, but you need to stop because the snapback is vicious. That's the perfect entry only if liquidity's there. Otherwise, you're buying the highlight reel at the top.
IMO, they've just gone full ad mode, cash rewards, yellow card jokes, and now go all in for $1 million. Give us the market angle on this gambling credit card hype.
Yeah, that's pure momentum marketing, trying to turn viewers into retail flow with FOMO and easy points framing. In market terms, it's leverage plus volatility. Fun when you're winning, brutal when the bill or the bad beat hits, and the house always has home field advantage.
That free kick was pure ROI, one strike, instant payoff. Tie it to risk, reward, and timing like a perfect entry point. The stadium just went bullish. IMO, that free kick was pure 2% cashback magic. One swing and bang, instant payoff. Give us the market analogy. Is that a blue chip strike or a meme stock rocket?
Love it. This one's closer to a meme stock rocket. Sudden catalyst, crowd noise, and the price can gap before you even blink. A blue chip strike is repeatable set piece execution. This is one perfect swing that can fade fast.
IMO, this sounds like a wild pitch. 4 podcasters saving the world in a country gone mad. Give us the market angle. Is this a meme stock revolution or just hot air in a suit? Mate, that's a trailer voiceover with studs on, sharp suits, sharp tongues, and the nation's pitch is absolutely soaked in drama. If common sense has gone missing, these podcasters are pressing high to win it back, and the whistle's just gone for a wild new... IMO, they're pitching midterms like a primetime derby, media hype, audience attention, bigger brain claims, feels like marketing meets politics. How do you read the incentives and the attention economy angle here? IMO, they're pitching FS1 like a midterm market rally. Engineered logic, bigger brains, cowherd, and barstool. What's your take on this kind of hype branding and attention economy? That's pure hype, isn't it? Like a pre-match montage where the pundits are warming up harder than the players. First things first, strutting onto the set like it owns the stadium and you can feel the noise building before a single ball's been kicked. Weekdays at 3 Eastern, bang on kickoff time for the hot takes, and FS1's rolling the ball out like it's prime time under the lights. Time to make the sports. I love it. Let's see who scores first with the headlines and who gets caught offside. Harry Kane joins that superstar roll call and suddenly it's fireworks, 2-2 and nobody's blinking. This one's turned into a heavyweight slugfest and the second half is set up like a final round shootout. That lineup's like a front 3 with zero fear, El Presidente pulling the strings, Big Cat bulldozing through, PFT chirping from the wing, and T-Bot arriving late but somehow still onside. Wake up, Barstool sounds like a press that starts before
Yeah, it's a super team strategy. Buy star power, grab early momentum, and hope the audience habits compound like a winning streak. But chemistry risk is real. If the shows cannibalize each other or fatigue sets in, ratings can mean revert fast.
Day to day, but seeing him move is like spotting the captain back on deck after a storm. Suddenly everyone stands a little taller. Now it's a race against the clock to Friday, and you know the fans are checking that calf like it's the stock ticker every 5 minutes.
That England sell wall just got lighter. 0.51 offers dropped to about 643k shares, and that's the first sign the defense is backing off. If buyers keep leaning on 0.50, you can get a quick pop, but it's still a grinded out match.
We've hit the ad break, but you can feel the tension still buzzing under it. 2-2 doesn't let your pulse drop, not even for 0% financing. Second half's coming like a restart after a thunderclap, and somebody's about to floor it. They're selling trucks, but this matches the real horsepower. After that to 2, everyone's engines are already revving. No payments till Labor Day sounds nice, but somebody's about to pay in sweat in this second half. Interest-free sounds lovely, but there's nothing free about what's coming next on that pitch. This is going to cost legs, lungs, and nerves. Strap in because after 2-2, the next goal feels like it'll hit like a freight train. Chevrolet wants you leaving interest behind, but this game's got everyone leaning forward with maximum interest. 2-2 is pure chaos waiting to happen. Second half's about to kick off, and you just know one moment of magic will tip the whole stadium.
Now you're seeing defensive positioning. Croatia and the draw both added a lot of sell-side depth, like parking the bus and daring England to break it down. England still favored 8-0, 0.51, but that 0.51 offer stack rebuilding.
We're stuck in this Chevy Goat ad break. Give me a quick market-style take. 0% financing and greatest of all time hype. How would you spin it while we wait for the second half?
Croatia's offer stack just got pulled back hard, ask depth down near 712k, so the long shot side suddenly has more air if any momentum swings. Meanwhile, England's sell side liquidity rebuilt over 1.0 M, so rallies still look like they'll get sold in. Yeah, it's marketing sugar, but it only works because the squeeze is real. People are hunting for value plays in their own budgets. When brands lead with price, it's like a team time-wasting A210, protecting demand, not showing confidence. We're basically range-bound. England still pinned A0A5 0.50.51, and that 0.51 ask stack near 592K is the bouncer at the door. Croatia's bid depth is creeping up with a bigger boy 0.15 line, so the upset crowd is quietly building a counterattack.
July 17. Mark it like a derby day because that's when the lights come on and the crowd leans in. If this story lands, it'll hit like a last-minute winner. You walk in one person and walk out changed. Rated R. Oof, that's a hard tackle warning right there. Not for the faint-hearted in the stands. And sweet plus tart, that's like mixing flair with bite. 1 second you're smiling, next second you're wincing, but you can't look away. IMO, we've got ads flying in, KFC buckets, sweet tarts dare to combine, plus an R-rated Odyssey teaser with a July 17th date. Give me your market brain take. Which brand's winning the attention economy here?
Yeah, that's three different Exactly. One goal is like a surprise CPI print. Spreads widen, stops get hit, and suddenly the whole book remarks in seconds. Momentum traders pile in like a counterattack, but the real pros wait to see if it's sustained pressure or just a lucky bounce.
IMO, this Copilot Outlook dispatch scheduling pitch is pure productivity ROI. How do you see the monetization angle and enterprise stickiness when AI personalizes every customer plan? IMO, this Copilot Outlook dispatch story feels like a product ad. What's your take on the business angle here? Customer personalization as the edge?
Yeah, it reads like an ad, but the business angle is real. Personalization is the moat because it feeds on your company's data and habits, so rivals can't copy the you part. That's enterprise lock-in. Like learning a team's set pieces, you get sharper every match. England's still priced like the favorite, but look at that ask wall, over 1.04 nuts now. So upside is getting crowded and rallies may stall at 0.51. Croatia remains a ghost bid with tiny support, while the draws offer stack is easing a bit. Yeah, that's classic blow-off top behavior. Confidence turns to caution fast, and you see risk managers tighten up. The buy-the-dip crowd is whoever trusts England's underlying quality, but after two fades, the market demands proof, not vibes.
Absolutely. It's a marathon, not a sprint, but England can't sleepwalk through a group like this. Someone will nick your lunch. That lineup screams control the chaos, yet they've still been dragged into a street fight 8-2-2. Yeah, you don't throw your crown jewels into a scrap if there's even a whisper of injury. Saka's too valuable for the long haul. But England still need a spark because this game's begging for one moment of quality to tip it either way.
Now the draw is getting parked the bus pricing. Ask depth just ballooned near 120 rum, so sellers are leaning hard into stalemate. Meanwhile, England's sell wall is shrinking, which tells me dip buyers are still in the tunnel ready to sprint.
IMO, England settling for 2-2. Does that feel like taking profits too early in a volatile market or smart risk management in a tough group? You're spot on. Tournaments punish accountants, not gamblers. You grab points early and ask questions later. But if it's still level late on, Tuchel might slam the door, take the draw, and live to fight the next one. Crouchy's got that knack of saying it with a grin and still landing the punch. There are cracks, no doubt. The scary part is, even with issues, England can still hurt you in a heartbeat, but they're flirting with danger at the back. He's right to wave the red flag. England have looked a bit wobbly when the pressure hits, like a door that won't quite latch. But hold on, not yet is the key phrase. One clean spell, one big tackle, and the whole mood flips. IMO, Croatia are lined up and England aren't even out yet. Looks like a market opening with one side already placing orders. Give us your take on that psychological edge and how first mover pressure plays out. Croatia already lined up, England still in the tunnel. Big psychological moment. Any quick take on pressure, leadership, and how late to market vibes can spook confidence?
Yeah, Leo, that's classic late to the open optics. Croatia look like they've already hit the first tackle, and England risks starting on the back foot. But strong captains are like market makers. They calm the spread, steady the tempo, and stop panic selling.
Croatia are out there like they own the place, blue shirts staking their claim, and England are still in the tunnel. Talk about theater. Either it's mind games or a bit of chaos backstage, but that walk feels a mile long when the crowd's already roaring. Absolutely, the talent's there in buckets, but the first half has been all stutters and loose bolts. Croatia have sniffed out the cracks, and when everything funnels to Kane, it's like reading the same page over and over. England need a new chapter fast. Yeah, every side leans on its headline act. You're Kane, you're Messi, someone's got to cash the chances. But if the whole attack becomes a one-man band, the opposition just marks the singer and the music stops. That's the tug of war right there. Croatia edging the ball, England firing more often, but it's the quality that's missing, not the quantity. You can feel the next big moment brewing. One clean strike and this whole half flips on its head. We're heading into a 2-2 second half. Kane's carrying the numbers, 4 shots, 2 goals, but keepers barely worked. Any quick market analogy on reliance risk and momentum swings for the stream? England playing the clock like it's a dark art straight out of that South American handbook, keeping everyone waiting and the temperature rising. It's cheeky, it's risky, and if Croatia bite, the second half could turn into a street fight with shin pads.
Draw tightens to 0.33, 0.34, and that tells you the market's bracing for extra time vibes. Nobody wants to overcommit. England's still stuck at 0.50, 0.51, but that 0.99 offer screams thin.
You can feel the whole continent leaning in. Late night nerves in London, even later in Zagreb, and nobody blinking. This is primetime pressure, and every touch now carries the weight of millions of living rooms holding their breath. No changes means both managers fancy their hand, so expect a furious...
Yep, that's the tape ripping higher. Croatia's confidence just took a gap down candle. After a shock like that, you either see panic chasing and sloppy fouls, or a quick reset into low block defense to stop the bleeding.
Croatia are coming out like a storm front. You can feel it. England have to weather this first wave.
That's a stop-run move. 1 goal and the whole positioning gets forced to rebalance. Croatia's hedge is dropping the line, slowing tempo, and buying time. Keep pressing and you're basically doubling down into a drawdown.
Croatia pressing man-to-man like a high-risk trade. Any slip and England can break it for a big payoff. Got a quick market analogy for this kind of pressure versus patience?
Exactly. Croatia's running max leverage, and 1 missed tackle is a margin call that turns into an England breakaway. England just needs to play like a quality compounder. Absorb the volatility, wait for the fat pitch, then cash it.
Bellingham just punished Croatia. Tight angle off the post, bang. That's a momentum swing like a breakout stock on earnings. How do you see Croatia reacting under that kind of sudden shock? Bellingham scores 90 seconds into the second half. Croatia's man-to-man press gets punished instantly. Any quick market style take on momentum swings and how a team should hedge after an early goal? Oh, that's a striker's finish from a midfielder, sweet off the post, and suddenly Wembley's heartbeat is back in rhythm. England come out like they've been plugged into the mains, and Jude's just signed the second half script with a flourish. That man-to-man press just got punished. Bellingham's goal is like a market short squeeze. 1 missed assignment and boom, price spikes. Give us your take on how risky that high-pressure setup is when one link breaks. Bellingham, that is lightning in a bottle. 90 seconds after the restart, and England are back on top, off the post and in. Absolute ice in his veins. That man-to-man press just got punished. 1 missed run, 1 dragged marker, and Jude slices...
England's drifting up to 0.80, 0.81, and the book's getting one-sided in their favor. Bid depth is fat, asks are thinning, that's momentum traders leaning in. Croatia's down to 4% with almost no bids, so it's like a team with no bench. 1 more England chance and this price can get...
He's got that big tournament swagger, doesn't he? Turns up early, turns up loud, and makes it look inevitable. After a season in Madrid's pressure cooker, this moment feels like home cooking for Bellingham. Gordon's harrying like a terrier, and suddenly it's chaos at the back. England smell blood here. Bellingham hits it with that clean, confident strike again, but Ljubakovic stands tall and says, "Not today," keeping them alive. First save of the night, and it takes a Bellingham rocket to force it. What a way to wake the keeper up. Jude's come out of that dressing room like he's had espresso and rocket fuel, snapping into every duel and demanding the ball. England have turned the screw. Croatia can't breathe. They're pinned in like a team defending a lead they don't have. First corner now, and you can feel the crowd leaning forward. This is where momentum turns into damage if Croatia don't clear their lines. England's pressure is relentless. Rice swinging in another corner, Kane lurking. Give us a quick market read. Is Croatia's defense looking like a stock in freefall under this second half surge? Keeper flaps at an in-swinging corner. Ljubakovic totally lost. England nearly cash in again. Feels like Croatia's defense is a shaky stock under heavy selling pressure. Got a quick market metaphor for this momentum swing? Vardy's done the classic defender's trick there. No touch needed, just loom large and live in the shooter's head. England are picking that back post like a lock, though, and if Croatia don't sort the matchups, the next one's in. Yeah, the chance interrupts everything. Football's got no manners, it just kicks the door in. England are sniffing blood right now, so finish your thought quick before another wave comes crashing in.
Now that's a little shift. England's bid depth just collapsed. Looks like the crowd stepping back after a long run-up, while Croatia draw get a tiny sympathy lift. Feels like a team protecting a one-goal lead. Still favored, but the market's less eager to chase at the top.
That let's keep a little bit idea lasted about as long as a clean sheet in a storm. England are playing like they've smelled weakness, and Croatia look like they're trying to put toothpaste back in the tube. Bellingham doesn't need a stack of goals to leave fingerprints all over a match. He's everywhere, like a shadow with studs on. And now Croatia can't stroll into this. They've been dragged into England's tempo. So go on then. What's the question? That's a nasty little clatter. Musa will feel that one, and Croatia will milk every second of this set piece like it's gold dust. Free kick here is their chance to breathe, reset, and maybe swing one into the mixer with real venom. Here we go. Croatia loading the box like it's rush hour, and England's backline has to be brave with that high line. One mistimed step, and it's chaos at the far post. This is where nerves start whispering. Modric over it. Every England fan holds their breath because he can paint a cross with a feather. Kane back there doing the dirty work, and Pickford's got to be a bouncer in his own 6-yard box. Command it or suffer. England sniffed the break, and suddenly it's end-to-end. One interception, and the whole stadium tilts. Croatia scramble back, the shot skids in low, and you can feel the next moment could swing either way in a heartbeat. Rice driving like a freight train through the middle, Gordon screaming for it on the flank, and he says, "I'll have a go myself." Big save again. That keeper's keeping Croatia alive, but England are turning the screw with this corner.
Croatia's bid side is basically empty now, sub 1K depth, so that price is more like a lottery ticket than a trade. England's still pinned around 0.81, 0.82, but with heavier offers overhead, it's a grind higher unless we get a clean goal event catalyst. Croatia's bid depth is down to a few $100. There's basically no real support, so any belief there is pure punt money. England's holding 0.81, 0.82 with solid bids, but that 0.
Two strong hands, and he shoves it wide. No spill, no panic, just pure goalkeeping. But another corner means another wave, and England are circling like sharks here. You can feel the pressure building. England are up 13 shots to 4, total dominance. Give us a quick market take. Is this pressure like a stock testing resistance before a breakout, or are we due a nasty counter correction?
Now we're seeing a little risk-on creep into the long shots. Croatia bids and draw bids both fattened up like traders hedging the clean sheet. England's still the heavyweight 80.800081, but that rising ask depth says the market. Absolutely, Leo. This is like a stock doing repeated taps at resistance, changing the order types until the sell wall finally cracks. But every extra minute without a breakthrough is time decay. The draw quietly gains value while England holders start trimming. England's price isn't lifting despite the dominance. That's a tell. Buyers are there, but sellers are stacking overhead, so it's more grind than breakout right now. Croatia's still a thin lottery ticket book, but the real trade is that creeping draw bid as the clock becomes the 12th. England's still stuck 80.80 for 8-1, but the ask side keeps swelling. More supply leaning on the favorite, which is classic. Good news not moving the price. Meanwhile, the draw bid depth is inching up again. That's the market quietly pricing in frustration minute.
The home crowd's not buying it, are they? Those boos could strip paint off the stands, and now the QR code pops up like a cheeky ad break in the middle of the drama. Pick your player, folks, but the ref's already winning most controversial. Plenty of names in the hat, and with 40 minutes left in Dallas, this is still wide open. Pickford's had a quiet night, but the scoreboard's shouting at him, while Livakovic's already had to earn his gloves. This next spell could swing everything.
That's a clean repricing higher for England, 0.81, 0.82, while liquidity thins out across the board, so any headline moment could gap this market. Croatia getting marked down to 3% is pure park the bus pricing, but it also means the upset, if it comes, hits like a sucker punch.
Kane just shrugs off the contact and drives on. He's playing like a one-man engine room. England are swarming the area. The ball's rolled invitingly for Reece James, and that's tidy work, but they needed a killer touch at the end.
Liquidity just fell off a cliff on Croatia and the draw. Those bid stacks evaporated, so this is a one big tackle changes everything kind of tape. England's still firm, 80.81, 0.82, but in a thin book, even a
Pasalic sniffs it out brilliantly and just slams the door. No panic, no fuss. Another corner, though, and you can feel the tension rising. How many warnings before one finally bites?
England just ticked up again, 0.83. Momentum buyers are edging it higher, but it's still a narrow move, not a rout. And with Croatia draw bid depth basically pocket change, this market's on skates. One sharp break and you'll see a proper price gap.
Rice has run himself into the ground all season, and you can see him taking that little stroll like a boxer buying a second on the ropes. Big delivery coming here. This is where tired legs either find one last perfect ball or it floats harmlessly away. IMO, England are battering Croatia with corner after corner, 3 saves and 1 scramble. Give me a quick market volatility analogy for this siege in the box.
England's price is holding at 2.83, but the bid depth just got yanked. Support's thinner, so any wobble could slip a tick fast. Draw bids rebuilt up at 0.13. That's the crowd hedging like fans nervously checking the clock. Croatia's still a long shot.
IMO, that keeper just made 3 saves in 3 seconds. Absolute volatility in the box. Give me a quick market analogy. Is this Croatia surviving a sell-off or what? VAR check brewing after that goal-bound header, possible handball in the scramble. Give us your take on the market volatility of these stoppages and how teams should manage the momentum swing.
Yep, Leo, VAR is the trading halt. Price discovery freezes, nerves spike, and when it reopens, you often get a gap move either way. Smart teams treat it like a timeout, reset shape, and don't chase the next ball like a panicked retail crowd. That VAR halt just unwound the England squeeze back to 0.82, 0.83, and you can feel the market exhale. Draw tightened 0.3, 0.14 as traders hedge the restart, while Croatia's still priced like a relegation side with almost no Totally, that keeper's basically the circuit breaker keeping Croatia's price from free falling. But when Modric exits, you're selling.
Yeah, Modric off early again. When the legs don't quite answer, the game can feel like it's running past you. Kovacic is a steady pair of hands, but you can sense Croatia losing that little metronome heartbeat Modric usually gives them. Tuchel's clapping like a man who smells blood, but Livakovic is refusing to blink. Kane drills it low with venom from a tight angle. Those are the ones that sneak in, unless you've got a keeper playing like he's got magnets in his gloves. Oh, that's the nightmare for a keeper. Low skidding, and it wriggles underneath him. England won't care how it goes in. They'll take it with a bow on, and suddenly all that heroic resistance has a crack in it. IMO, Livakovic is putting on a one-man hedge fund performance, 7 saves and counting, while England bombard the box, and now Modric is coming off. What's your read on the market shift when your midfield blue chip gets withdrawn under this kind of pressure?
England's still the heavy favorite at 0.82, 0.83, but notice the draw bid depth swelling. Money's bracing for a late equalizer or just time bleeding out. Croatia ticking back to a 0.03, 0.04 spread is basically a sympathy quote. The real
40 years old at a World Cup, Modric is pure football history even on a rough afternoon. And Kovacic stepping in with that century plus of caps, that's Croatia's safety net unfolding right in front of us. Experience stacked on experience. This golden generation is on fumes. You can see it, hands on knees, lungs burning, but the pride is still roaring. And that's the danger for England. Croatia only need one spark, one scrappy moment, and suddenly the whole stadium holds its breath. Yeah, those tiny tweaks can flip the mood. 1 minute you're wobbling, next minute you've got a pulse again. But if you're still reeling right after the break, that's a warning siren. Whatever was said in the dressing room hasn't landed on the pitch. That's the irony, isn't it? Croatia standing there like statues and England stroll out and hit the switch first. Sometimes it's not who's waiting, it's who's mentally plugged in, and England looks sharper, quicker, hungrier in every duel.
That draw top bid jumping to 0.12 is the tell. Late game nerves are paying up for insurance even while England stays pinned at 0.83 or 0.84. And England's ask wall just got chunky 8.084, so upside is like running into a packed defense. You need a
Big aerial scrap there, Gvardiol bossing it like a bouncer at the door, and James answers with that spring-loaded leap to keep England on the front foot. You can feel the ball just refusing to settle. It's pinging around like a pinball.
Croatia's bid depth just evaporated, 1.2k on the bid versus a wall of asks. So that side's basically a ghost market now. The draw still has a stubborn 1 bid, but England's 0.84 ask stack says traders are taking profit into strength, not
Exactly. When England's foot comes off the gas, Croatia start to sniff around, but Bellingham's basically shouting no naps with every sprint, and that throw-in feels like a tiny reset Croatia desperately need because they've barely had time to breathe. IMO, England's tempo spikes when Bellingham drives it. Feels like momentum trading. Can you riff on that selfless run creates space idea like a market mover creating liquidity? That's the beauty of it. Those selfless decoy runs are like pulling defenders on strings, and suddenly Bellingham's got a runway. And England's dead balls have been absolute gold dust tonight. Every delivery feels like it's got danger stamped on it. IMO, England's set pieces are printing chances like a hot IPO. What's the risk management here for opponents? Zonal versus man marking, and how do you stop a team that's this efficient on dead balls? IMO, England's set pieces are like a blue chip dividend right now. How do opponents hedge against that kind of repeatable edge without panicking and losing shape?
Yeah, that's the steady yield you can't ignore. Croatia's hedge is discipline, not desperation. Concede fewer dead balls and keep a spare marker in the danger zone. Panic pressing is like over-leveraging. You blow your shape and gift the next corner. England's still the heavy favorite, but you can feel the buyers taking a breather. Bid depth cooled from 306K to 216K, while that 0.84 offer stack just won't budge. Croatia's book is basically a ghost town on the bid.
England's set pieces look like a repeatable edge, almost like a high-yield asset. Curious, how would you hedge against a team that keeps generating dead ball chances like this? IMO, they're shouting out Emmitt Smith and Des Bryant in the crowd. Big Cowboys energy in the building. Give us the market equivalent. Oh, that's a statement from the Modric heir. Wins the scrap, then tries to sting the keeper with that skidding effort. It's not pretty, but it's brave, and you can hear Croatia's belief rising with every duel they don't lose. That's the modern game for you. VAR for goals, statisticians for saves, and we're all waiting like it's a stock ticker. But you can feel it. Croatia have finally taken a breath, slowed the chaos, and that's exactly when the next punch usually lands. Yeah, they've weathered a proper storm there, backs to the wall, lungs burning, and somehow they're still standing. But you don't get to relax for long in a qualifier like this. One sloppy pass and the wave comes right back over them. Those big Musa launches are pure relief valve football. Get it up, get a breather, drag the defense back. But if England win that second ball in the middle, it's instant danger again, like a boomerang flying straight back at your face.
Now we're seeing real air pockets. England bid depth just got cut to about 110K, while the offer stack shifted up to 0.95, which screams liquidity pulled more than confidence gained. That's like the crowd going quiet before a penalty.
Musa again, he's the battering ram, isn't he? Just asking questions every time it goes near him. Croatia are trying to turn those scraps into territory, and you can feel England's backline getting a little twitchy. O'Reilly did just enough, but Pickford was living dangerously there. One heavy touch, and it's a gift. Kovacic snaps up the loose one, and suddenly Perisic is galloping into space. Croatia are cooking down that flank now.
That's a little momentum swing against the favorite. England slips to 0.82, 0.83, and the bid depth is down to just 53K, so the floor is getting shaky. Draw nudges up to 0.5. Classic late game nerves pricing as traders buy insurance.
We've got a potential offside versus corner flashpoint. Perisic in the mix, players swarming the ref. Give us your market reaction take. How do these VAR moments swing momentum like a sudden earnings surprise?
Post-VAR, England's price holds 0.82, 0.83, but the bid depth snaps back up near 140K. Buyers are stepping in again, just not chasing. Draw liquidity also rebuilt, so the market's basically saying risks still live.
Flags up on Kane, but Henderson's first touch was pure velvet. Then bang, he's dumped on the turf, and England want that whistle. And yes, folks, if you're following the rest of this drama, it's over on FS1.
Croatia's back to a tight 0.03 0.03, but the bid depth is basically a puddle, $468, so that support is paper thin. England still leads, yet the 82% print tells you the market's shaving the favorite like a team that's starting to feel.
Plenty still to come on FS1. Colombia in Mexico City is never a quiet night. It's a cauldron, and that World Cup. The classic play on just in case from the assistant keeps everyone honest. Then bang, we reset with the throw, and here come the changes with that teenage history maker for Croatia involved. You can feel Big calls from the bench. Young Salukovskivic's day is done, and the scorer Musa gets his ovation. You can still see that emotion clinging to him like rain on a shirt. MLS fingerprints all over this match, and the tempo's about to shift with fresh legs. That's a proper World Cup first. Brother and sister both start. Here they come. Hasalic and Martinovic stepping into the furnace, and you can almost hear the gears changing. Fresh legs, new angles, and suddenly every defender's doing that little head check, wondering who's picking up who now.
Now you've got a real sell wall on England, right? 0.83, over 300k shares. So upside is capped unless something big happens on the pitch. Meanwhile, the draw stays bid at swiped 1415. That's the market hedging like a team parking the bus and playing for penalty. England's still pinned at 808200.83, and that row 83 wall is basically a defender with a perfect angle, hard to get past without a clear chance. Draw bids are thinning out, so the late equalizer hedge isn't getting fresh money right here. That England sell wall just moved up to 0.98, so the immediate cap, AT 0.83, is gone. Market makers basically backed off and gave the favorite more runway. But notice the draw bid depth jumped to 11k. That's the crowd quietly buying insurance like a keeper staying.
It could tilt Croatia into a more direct, punchy look. Hasalic brings that Orlando bite, and Martinovic can stretch the line and drag markers out of shape. If they click quickly, you'll see Croatia pin the fullbacks back and start asking sharper questions in the final third. Pickford's just gone full no-nonsense there. Boots it long like he's clearing his inbox. You can feel the tempo spike because one bad bounce off that kind of delivery, and suddenly it's chaos in the middle third.
Liquidity just evaporated on England, asks down to 88k. So if buyers step in, this can sprint higher fast because there's not much resistance. Croatia ticking to 4% is more hope trade than conviction with that tiny bid depth. One headline.
McKay's hunting it down like a terrier, and you can see defenders instantly backpedaling. Nobody wants to get turned here. If he gets a clean touch on the run, this could open up in a heartbeat. That smart defending shepherded him away from danger and took the sting out of it at the last second. But you can feel it. One more burst in behind, and this backline's going to start creaking under the pressure.
That draw bid depth exploding to 18k is the tell. Money's crowding into the anything can happen lane even while the headline price sits still. England's still favored, but with that big ask stack up at 0.98, you're not getting a clean break.
Oof, Marco nearly nicked it there. Half a step quicker and he's in on the loose ball with the crowd holding its breath. Those are the moments that flip a match, and you can see the defenders suddenly getting twitchy.
With the big trades feed down, I'm watching the tape through depth, and the draw still has a chunky bid under it, so traders are staying hedged. England's price is steady, but that 0.98 offer stack is like a high backline. One mistake.
Here we go. Fresh legs queued up, and that hydration break is like a pit stop in a Grand Prix. England's bench is itching to change the rhythm because 8-3-2, you don't manage this, you seize it. IMO, England had that spell chasing a fourth. Do they need to up the risk again or manage it like protecting a portfolio? Give us the market analogy. IMO, England easing off at 3-2 with 22 to go. Feels like protecting a lead versus pushing for a fourth goal cushion. In market terms, do you lock profits or keep risk on when momentum's with you? Kane's little nudge is clever, but Gordon had to check his run and bang. Stanisic snaps the door shut like a bouncer at closing time. England have to play that one-touch full throttle stuff again because 8-3-2, you give Croatia a breath and they'll bite. Bellingham absolutely launches himself in there. Pure front foot mentality, no nonsense, just, you're not breaking on us today. You can hear the crowd roar his name because that's the kind of tackle that keeps the pulse high and the momentum England's way. Dallas is rocking. This match has been a roller coaster with no seatbelts, and it's still wobbling at the top. England have the lead, but not the luxury. One sloppy minute, and Croatia can turn this into heartbreak or history.
England bid depth just exploded to 260k. Buyers are stepping in like a team winning second balls, trying to absorb that sell wall and keep the favorite trade alive. But the draw ask stacked right 80.15 tells you the market's still pricing late drama.
Because nights like this hook you. One moment it's chess, the next it's a street fight, and the scoreline can flip your world in a heartbeat. It's simple to watch, impossible to predict, and it drags your emotions around like a scarf in the wind. That's it, just a ball and a bit of hope, and suddenly a whole stadium is dreaming the same dream, and I'm with you. Belief is a dangerous fuel in football. It turns tired legs into rockets and quiet moments into miracles. Exactly. Football makes you look at the pitch and think, hang on, could I pull that off? And then it dares you to try because the gap between impossible and iconic is sometimes just one touch. Oh, that's pure poetry in midair, like someone hit pause on gravity for a second. And you're right, deep down, everyone wants that one moment where the world gasps and you land like a legend. That's the magic. 90 minutes and the borders melt away. You're hugging someone you've never met like family. 4 billion hearts beating to the same rhythm, and the ball's the conductor.
England's support keeps thickening, bid depth up again, so buyers are still crowding the favorite like they're protecting a one-goal lead. But the draw book is getting more two-sided, 8-0.14, 0.15, which tells you hedgers are active and volatile.
IMO, that ad line about experiencing England with platinum, sounds like premium branding and upsell psychology. Give us the market angle on how sports tourism packages cash in on fan emotion.
Perfect timing, Leo. England's playing the platinum card. Fresh legs, fresh confidence, and suddenly the price of belief jumps. Final 20 is pure risk on, risk off. One sloppy touch and the market flips faster than my last-minute trade idea.
And there it is. Football turning into a 5-star sales pitch, eh? IMO would call that premium positioning. I call it book now, scream later, because England on a big night is priceless. IMO, they're pitching complimentary breakfast and third night offers mid-broadcast. Give us the market angle. Is this smart premium? Gordon on for Rashford, England keeping the engine revving, and you can feel Croatia thinking, oh no, not another runner at us. And that Barcelona chatter in the background feels like a transfer ticker trying to crash a live match. We're back from the platinum ad break. Madueke off to a warm ovation, and here comes Saka. Dallas just sat up in its seat. That's like swapping a sharp knife for a razor blade. Croatia's fullback is already checking over his shoulder. IMO, England just rolled out a triple sub. Rodgers, Saka, Rashford, like a luxury brand dropping a new lineup. Give us the market analogy. Is this a late game blue chip injection or a risky growth punt? Dallas is bracing itself. England roll the dice with a triple change, and suddenly it feels like a fresh set of tires on a race car. With a 1-goal lead, this is either the killer punch or an invitation for Croatia to swing back.
This book just got weird. Prices still show England's mind chart 83.0 on 8.4, but the depth looks like someone yanked liquidity and reposted way up at 0.98, 0.99. That's classic thin market and stoppage time. One decent order and you're slipping tackles into a
IMO, England just made a triple sub while leading 3-2. Feels like a high-risk portfolio rebalance late in the day. Give us your market style take. Protect the lead or chase the fourth.
Yeah, Leo, that's a late day rebalance. Rotate into fresh defensives up top by pressing harder and keeping the ball. Best play is protect the lead by controlling tempo, but one overcommit is like chasing alpha and getting hit on the counter.
Rodgers and Bellingham talk all week, and now the manager's basically saying, why not both? This is the kind of tweak that can turn a cautious lead into a stranglehold. Croatia have shifted too, so it's chess at full sprint right now. Saka's first touch, and you can feel the tempo spike. England suddenly look like they've got a spark plug back in the engine. Konsa stands him up. Croatia try to wriggle out in transition, but this is the moment where one sharp pass can light. That's the one little hiccup. Rodgers and Saka just on different wavelengths, and England nearly trip over their own ambition. But 8-3-2, you can feel the temptation to slam the door. Problem is, this game's still got teeth. That's top leadership from Bellingham. Arm around, a quick word, then straight back into the fire like nothing happened. And Tuchel keeping Rodgers and Jude together, that's a statement. We're not shutting up shop, we're turning the screw.
Yeah, Leo, that's not diversification. That's levering into momentum with two ball carriers, like adding beta when you're already up on the day. It can kill the game with control, but if they lose shape, the draw trade suddenly gets a heartbeat.
Dual 10s, that's pure mischief. Two playmakers hunting pockets while Anderson holds the fort like a bouncer at the door. Rodgers dropping in to receive. If he turns on the half spin here, Croatia could be chasing shadows in seconds. England 3-2 up, but looking a bit messy in the final third. Temptation to shut the game down versus keep attacking. Give us a quick market style take. Protect the lead or stay aggressive.
I'd play it like a winning trade. Tighten the stop. Don't slam the book shut. Keep enough aggression to control possession and territory, because going full defensive is how you invite a late volatility spike equalizer.
Tuchel's making aggressive, keep the foot on the gas subs at 3-2 instead of defensive ones. Feels like a risk-on strategy. Give us the market analogy. When do you press versus protect a lead?
England just ticked up 2-0-8-4-0-8-5. Buyers are still in control, but they're paying up into a thicker offer stack, so upside gets harder from here. Meanwhile, the draw is firming at 0.13, 0.14. That's the market pricing in one.
Exactly. Rashford glued to the paint, stretching the pitch like a rubber band, and that fullback suddenly got a nightmare choice. Step out and leave space behind, or sit in and let England breathe. One underhit pass and it's panic stations. IMO, Tuchel's aggressive subs feel like a keep buying the dip strategy. Croatia looks stretched and may need bench liquidity fast. Do they have enough quality energy reserves to respond, or are they running out of options? That's the tightrope, isn't it? Croatia want to throw numbers forward, but England in transition are like a trapdoor opening under your feet. One extra runner and suddenly you're exposed, and Tuchel's lads are licking their lips for the next onslaught. 15 minutes in Dallas, and it's a heavyweight slugfest. Next punch might be the knockout. England sniffing for that fourth, Croatia refusing to blink, and the stadium's holding its breath every time the ball turns over. This is pure World Cup drama. Bellingham tracking back like a midfielder with a defender's heart. He's putting out fires before they even spark. Rashford can't quite spring the outlet, but Pickford gobbles it up, and England get a breather just for a second.
Now you're seeing late game de-risking. England's win prob ticks up, but bid depth collapses, so it's more nobody wants to sell than everyone wants to buy. Draw liquidity is draining too. Crowds heading for the exits like fans beating traffic after a 2-0 lead.
Pasalic shifts it onto that left, and you can feel the crowd tense. He's shaping like he fancies a moment of magic. England have to close him down fast here because one clean strike and we're talking headlines. Pasalic absolutely thumped that, skidding up awkwardly like a bad hop in baseball, and Pickford still gets the gloves right behind it. That's top-class handling under pressure. The rebound was begging for a Croatian toe, but England hack it clear and survive another. Livakovic's up to 6 saves already. Keeper's basically carrying Croatia right now. Give me your market take. Is this like a stock? Perisic tracking back like a veteran bouncer, shutting the door just as England try to barge through. And now Kovacic coming on for Luka. Fresh legs, fresh rhythm. Croatia looking to reset the tempo before this turns into a track meet. IMO, Livakovic's up to 6 saves like a blue-chip stock holding the line, while Pickford just dealt with a nasty deflection, and Bellingham's got his hand up in the box. Any quick take on that insurance policy keeper effect and the handball drama? Matanovic wriggles free and lets fly. It takes a nick, and suddenly Pickford's dealing with a wobbling knuckler. Does well to smother it with no blue shirt sniffing around. And Bellingham with the hand up like, my bad, lads, after gambling in midfield and nearly... Kane taking it low and hard. There's real bite in that strike, and you can feel England trying to squeeze the life out of this spell. If they keep feeding him in those pockets, Croatia's back line is going to start backing up like it's on roller skates.
Draw just tightened down to 0.12013.
Yeah, that one was lashed. No bobble needed, just pure power off the boot. And here comes Kramaric, a man who lives for these moments. Croatia are loading the dice, looking for a spark to flip this game.
England just ticked up to 0.85, 0.86, and the bid depth ballooned. Buyers are leaning in like they're protecting a 1-goal lead in stoppage time. Draws still priced for no breakthrough, but that England bid stack says the crowd's betting on a late winner. Croatia's stuck at pennies.
That's a proper hit. Left foot, clean as you like, bending for the far stick with real venom. Pickford reads it early and gets down sharp, because if that sneaks inside the post, we're talking goal of the night. Croatia are reshuffling the engine room now. Fresh legs for those late midfield darts. Classic "we're not done yet" energy. You can feel them trying to crank up the tempo, those little All right, England roll the dice now. Spence steps into the spotlight. World Cup debut. That's a heartbeat you can hear through the TV. Fresh legs down the flank can change everything in a flash. Croatia will test him immediately.
Croatia's now locked at 0.02. Price is dead, but look at that monstrous ask wall. Any pop gets instantly sold. England's bid depth keeps climbing, so sentiment's still one-way traffic, while the draw market is basically a crowded exit with those huge offers.
He's a nightmare between the lines, drifts into those little pockets like smoke, turns on a sixpence, and suddenly he's facing your center backs. And the scary part is he doesn't just link it, he ends it. One touch and bang.
Draw just popped back to 0.13, 0.14. Classic late equalizer insurance getting repriced as nerves rise. England's still the favorite, but that surging bid depth feels like the crowd piling into the same trade, and that's when a single counterpunch hurts most. That's a real momentum flip. England just slipped to 0.83, 0.84, and more importantly, the bid depth collapsed. Buyers stepped away. Draw is holding firm 8.13, 0.14, so the market's basically saying England's still likely.
He's been bursting out of midfield like a runaway train, dragging Croatia backwards with every surge. Those off-ball runs are pure gold, just missing that final touch to turn it into a second dagger. That's the moment, isn't it? Gets into the space, keeps his head, and the quality does the talking. It's not just arriving there, it's what you do when the door cracks open. And he's kicked it off the hinges. Absolutely, he's pinched that inside lane like a seasoned striker. Either you foul him or you're in trouble, and he made them pay with that far post kiss, and Spence with that awkward brace. Welcome to the World Cup, son. No one's leaving here unscathed. IMO, England shifting into a back five to protect the lead. Feels like a risk management move. Give us your portfolio hedging take. Does this defensive shape lock in gains or invite late volatility? That cross takes a wicked nick and suddenly it's chaos in the box. England just about breathe again as it drifts too long. Croatia are hanging around like a bad smell here. 10 minutes plus stoppage. This is where legs go and hearts race. England switching into a back five late on. Feels like risk management, protect the lead, but invites pressure. Any quick take on when defensive hedging backfires under sustained Croatia attacks?
Totally. Hedges backfire when you stop generating cash flow, and in football that's possession and exits. If Croatia pins you in, the market starts pricing a single high leverage event, one corner, one VAR moment, and suddenly the draw ticks up. Now England's book looks healthier. Bid depth has surged while the ask side thinned, so buyers are back controlling the midfield. Draw actually firmed lower 2-0, 1-2, 0.13 with almost no bid depth, which screams no one wants to.
Exactly. James stepping inside gives England that extra body in the engine room, and suddenly the build-up looks calmer even if the scoreboard's screaming drama. And you're right about stats. They can't measure panic, momentum, or the way a crowd holds its breath.
England's price is steady, 8.85, 0.86, but the tell is the ask depth ballooning. More folks lining up to take profit into strength. The draw book is still thin on real bids, so the market's not paying for late chaos yet. Croatia stays a 2-cent flyer.
3-2, and it feels like a tightrope, doesn't it? England ominous, but Croatia have hit thunderbolts that laugh at expected goals. And here comes Spence charging forward like a late rally in the markets. One run that can swing the whole mood in seconds. We've got XG versus reality all over this 3-2 thriller. Croatia scoring screamers, England piling 20 shots and 7 saves forced. Give us a quick stats can lie market analogy for the stream. Rashford's got jets down that byline. You think it's curtains, and then Paspalj slides in like a man paying off a mortgage. Absolutely spotless. England keep knocking, but Croatia are still lurking like a bad headline waiting to drop. Oof! James just clatters through the middle, and the whistle slices the air. Croatia will milk every second of this. Matanovic staying down too, and you can feel England's rhythm stutter right when they want to slam the door shut. Croatia restarting a flash, Perisic and Kovacic spreading it like a switch of play on a chessboard, and suddenly Paspalj has got grass to eat. O'Reilly has to cut that lane quick or this turns into a heart-and-mouth counter. O'Reilly stands him up and muscles him off at proper streetwise defending, no panic. Rashford then just hooks it clear, but you can hear the crowd groan because every scrappy second now feels like it's worth a goal. Kovacic picks it up in that little pocket, head up scanning. You can almost see the pass before it's played. Amarish is nowhere near him, and that's dangerous territory because Croatia only need one clean look to flip this whole script. Pickford nearly collides with his own man, clearing a dangerous back post ball. Proper last-minute chaos. Any quick analogy on risk management when your own assets get in each other's way under pressure?
Yep, that's portfolio correlation biting you. Everything looks diversified until stress hits and your hedges crash into your core position. In late-game chaos, clean execution matters more than the game plan, and one bad clearance can wipe out a whole lead. England's drifting higher to 0.86, 0.87, and Croatia's basically been marked down to a penny. Markets saying the upset door is closing, but the key tell is that Chunky's 0.888 offer. That's the defender on the goal line, and until it's cleared.
Kovacic slows it down like he's got all night. Then suddenly it's whipped in and Perisic is sniffing around the back post. England are living on the edge here. Pickford springs down to his right again, third stop, and that's a keeper keeping a team alive. That's the nightmare, isn't it? One free swing at goal, and suddenly your whole defensive shape looks like a cardboard cutout. Harris just hacks it away, but Croatia are knocking louder and louder like a door that's about to come off its hinges. Croatia are pressing like they've plugged into the mains. Every pass is chased, every second ball is a scrap. And while we've got that Friday teaser on Fox, you just know the US fans will be buzzing if Pulisic's cleared to go. Big boost if he's fit. We'll have one eye on that team news. But right now, England are breaking. Here they come with a bit of daylight. This is the moment to be brave because Croatia's press leaves gaps if you can punch through it. Rodgers keeps it alive. Good discipline, job not finished. And Saka snaps it up with that electric first touch. England have bodies flying forward here. This is where you've got to make the extra man count before Croatia can scramble back.
Absolutely. After a finish like that, the market reprices instantly. Spreads tighten on England, and the upset side goes no bid because nobody wants to catch that falling knife. Croatia's forced into all-out press mode, which is basically levering up when volatility's already...
That's the gamble when you're hunting a goal. Push the chips in and suddenly the back door's wide open. Those attacking changes give you firepower, sure, but one loose pass and you're staring at a counter like it's a tax bill. Tuchel's tweaks have lit a fuse up top. Saka and Rodgers are sprinting beyond.
Totally. Bench depth is your balance sheet strength. When the game gets tight, you can rotate without losing quality, and that's why the price stays pinned near the top. Croatia's legs fade, England's subs raise the tempo, and momentum becomes a one-way trade. Now it's even more extreme. Croatia and the draw have... Yeah, that's the classic headline risk discount. Off-field noise widens the spread on a player's stock, even if the underlying talent's unchanged. A goal...
Rashford's just iced it with the calm of a man ordering room service. Cut back corner, good night. Dallas is bouncing, and England have daylight now at 4-2. That's a statement finish from a player who's had chaos off the pitch. Stones coming off, Mark Guehi on, and that's Tuchel slamming the door with fresh legs. No romance, just control. England want to choke the life out of these last minutes. Keep it tidy, keep it ugly if they have to. Now, can the other side find one last punch, or is this curtain coming? Rashford's impact off the bench is like a blue-chip rally. Tuchel's substitutions just paid dividends, and the crowd celebrating like a market hitting all-time highs. Give us your take on that bench depth value. Rashford's just made it 4-2 ice-cold finish after a messy 24 hours at club level. From your angle, how does that kind of off-field uncertainty hit a player's stock price and the club's valuation narrative?
Now we're basically at the final whistle pricing. England's printing points on both sides, which tells you settlement's the only thing left. The draw has a token bid at 0 and a mountain of asks, and Croatia's still a ghost town. This is like stoppage time with a 3-goal lead.
Oh, they're not sitting back at all. England are hunting like it's still 0-0, pressing for a fifth and smelling blood. Croatia haven't shipped this many on the biggest stage since that painful final night, and you can see the wobble in their legs now. This crowd's roaring. England pushing for a fifth at 4-2. Croatia leaking goals like a busted balance sheet. Give us a quick market analogy. When a team's XG finally cashes out, is that like a stock snapping back to fair value? It really does fit the flow now. England have been sharper, braver, and ruthless when it mattered. Croatia have had moments, sure, but England's tempo has felt like a wave that just keeps coming. This is the kind of win that makes the rest of the tournament sit up straight.
Liquidity's thinning into pure settlement mode. England's still locked at 100, but you can see more offers showing up as people cash the ticket. Draw and Croatia are just penny stock graveyards with asks stacked and no real bids. This is the market jogging out the clock. England's now a full wine on lock with even the draw marked basically 0. This is as close to game over pricing as you'll ever see. The only real action is profit taking and cleanup, like traders squaring books after the final whistle. Anyone still leaning Croatia here is...
Dallas heat and that big open bowl can sap your legs, no doubt. Your lungs feel like they're breathing through a scarf out here, but England have managed it better, rotating runs and keeping the ball moving so they're not chasing shadows. Croatia look like they're running in sand now.
England's pinned 8-1 home, and the only price left is microbids down at 0.02. Classic endgame where the books just clutter and settlement mechanics. Draw and Croatia are effectively written off, all supply and no demand. Feels like watching the...
That's the luxury, isn't it? England can spin the bench like a roulette wheel and the quality barely flickers. And you're right, they'll talk about the weather like it's a tactical system. But with this depth, you can manage minutes, manage tempo, and still keep the knife sharp. IMO, England talking a heat-proof model under Tuchel. Sounds like risk management and squad depth as hedging. How would you frame that in market terms for the stream?
Yeah, that's like building an all-weather portfolio, less reliant on one-star factor, more on repeatable process and depth. The heat-proof piece is volatility control. Keep intensity high without blowing up late, like managing drawdown.
Exactly. Kickoff time is the real thermostat, but with that kind of depth, you can keep throwing fresh legs on like logs on a fire. If it's a daytime bake, you manage the rhythm. If it's cooler at night, you crank the press and suffocate teams. That's the modern World Cup cheat code. 45 minutes at full throttle, then a second wave comes crashing in like a fresh tide. If England time those changes right, opponents won't just tire, they'll start making panic decisions under pressure. Oh, that little swivel was gorgeous. He wriggled out of trouble and suddenly the whole pitch opens up, but the legs come across, down he goes, and you can feel the temperature rise in the crowd as the ref's whistle cuts through it. If I'm nitpicking, it's the moments they get a bit too brave in the first build-up pass, one sloppy touch, and you're inviting a counter like a party crasher. But credit where it's due, the quality is frightening. They can fix mistakes with one burst of pace. Kane's down behind the play, big moment. While we wait, can you riff on how England's depth off the bench is like portfolio rotation, and what the risk is when they sit too deep passive?
Yeah, bench depth is sector rotation. You can swap legs without changing the game plan, keeping tempo when the starters fade. But if you sit too deep, that rotation turns into defensive rebalancing under stress, and suddenly you're playing not to lose. Markets smell.
Kane down is the last thing England want. Everything just tightens up when your talisman's clutching a leg. Play carries on, the move fizzles, and now it's that nervous added time stretch where one moment can flip the whole night in Dallas.
Nothing's changed. England is still pinned at 100 with 0 offers, so price discovery is basically over. The only action is that tiny bid depth on draw Croatia getting vacuumed around Daru, which is just cleanup in garbage time. This
IMO, Tuchel's hypercritical even in a win vibe, feels like earnings season, beat expectations but still get sold off. How do you see that mindset translating to consistency across easier on paper group games? Hossack picks it up and you can feel the tempo spike. This is where a low block suddenly turns into a sucker punch if you switch off. O'Reilly's got to stay on his toes here because one slip and it's chaos in the box. They're asking about Croatia and Modric having a tough day. Give us your quick take, maybe tie it to experience versus legs and how teams age like portfolios under pressure. Croatia feel like Croatia, don't they? Never flashy for the sake of it, just stubborn, streetwise, and hard to knock over. Even if Modric isn't having his smoothest afternoon, they've got that tournament DNA that drags them through groups like it's a habit. Yeah, I'm not panicking either. Modric on an off day still sees passes most players don't even imagine. But against a side that's all legs and lightning, you can feel the game trying to run away from him, and that's the real test. That English midfield was a tidal wave, power, pace, bodies arriving in packs, and they just kept crashing into that zone until it bent. And that man you're talking about, he didn't just play well, he grabbed the match by the collar and shook it. 4 minutes left and Kane's still front and center. Miss a pen, shrug it off, and keep dragging the team up the pitch like a proper skipper. That's the difference. Some hide after that moment, he goes hunting for the next one. Exactly. He cashes in the second chance with ice in his veins, and that header is pure striker's instinct. But the real gold is the unseen work. Dropping in, linking play, bullying center backs. That's the tape coaches will replay all week. IMO. Kane's bounce-back mentality after that missed pen is like a blue chip stock shaking off a dip. Can you riff on that resilience and buy the rebound psychology for the stream? Asensio tries to float one in and it hangs up there. Pickford reads it early and just plucks it like it's training ground stuff. England will take that all day, reset, and keep the tempo under control. That's a tasty little subplot. Croatia heading to Toronto and Panama waiting like a mystery box. First meeting ever. You just know both camps will be peeking at the tape tonight, trying to spot a weakness before Tuesday lights up. You can feel it now. Second match day football. The nerves tighten and every tackle's got a little extra bite. 3 minutes left and nobody wants to be the one who blinks. This is where legs get heavy and minds have to stay sharp. Oof, that one stung. Reece James clutching his chest like he's just taking a cannonball at close range. And if you're in Dallas-Fort Worth, yes, stock the ice and call in reinforcements at the bar. This finish has late drama written all over it.
Whoa, England bid depth just exploded to nearly 2 million with 1.8 million shares sitting at 1 euro. That's the whole stadium chanting the same song. With no asks, it's pure momentum and settlement mechanics now. Croatia and draw are just zero price leftover.
England rolling in like a marching band, and you can already hear the pubs warming up. And hey, if the Scots have already taken over your Dallas hub, that's on you. Never underestimate a tartan invasion with a songbook. Here they come again. England on the march, and FS1's about to be your best mate for the next kickoff. But if Dallas has already been conquered by the Scots, don't blame the fixture list. Blame whoever left the door open and the pints flowing. Corner coming, and you can smell the desperation. 2 minutes left, 2 down, it's all or nothing now. Harisic is hunting chaos like it's a loose ball in the 6-yard box, and one good delivery could turn this place upside down. It's pinball in the 6-yard box, chance on the doorstep, and Hurricane throws himself in like a human sandbag. That's a goal-saving block, and England aren't easing off. They're sniffing a fifth like sharks around the boat. Saka tries to spring Rashford, and it's snuffed out. Just when you thought the turbo was engaged. Petar Sudik eats up the grass on the recovery run. That's the kind of tracking back that keeps you alive in a storm. Kane's carrying a knock, but still leading like a blue chip. 2 goals and grafting through pain. Give us your take. When do you sell a star mid-game versus ride the momentum?
Spot on. He's playing like a battered captain with the armband glued on. You sell when the limp starts changing the team's shape and the market's already priced perfection. Otherwise, you ride it because momentum in a stadium is like liquidity. Once it's gone, good luck. Now we've got nearly $3 million piled into England at one end. This is the post-whistle dog pile. Everyone trying to be first in a line that doesn't move. Croatia and the draw are both offered at 0 in size, so the market's basically sweeping confetti, not trade.
Anderson tries to nick it off the short restart, but Kefasilic is wide awake, reads it early, and slams the door shut. He's been a wall out there, the kind of performance that keeps you in the fight even when the tide's against you. Kane's playing through a knock and still blocking shots in the 94th. Captain's mentality. Give me a quick blue chip stock take. Is this the kind of reliability you'd buy all day?
Absolutely, that's blue chip behavior. When the game's risk off, he's still protecting the downside with those blocks. I'd buy that reliability all day because it's the kind of effort that keeps a lead from turning into a late market flash crash.
Final seconds now. Harishi swings in one last hopeful ball, and Pickford claims it clean as you like. No drama, no spill. That's the goalkeeper's signature right there, and you can almost hear the whistle warming up. It wasn't pretty, it wasn't simple, but it's been handled with authority when it mattered most. That's an open...
Yeah, 4-2 is a momentum trader's dream. Price action screams trend day and the late money piles in. But group stages are a long season, and one bad injury or rotation game is your earnings miss, so volatility's still on the schedule.
Kane and England taking that next step, dreaming of a second star on the shirt, and you can feel the belief building with every minute. This one had the tension, the moments, the noise, exactly what you want from a World Cup night. And that's it from Dallas. What a night. What a contest between 2 heavyweights, the kind that leaves your pulse racing even after the final whistle. We'll hand it down to Rob Stone on the concourse. Soak it in because this is World Cup theater. England go 4-2 up. Group L suddenly looks like a blue chip stock. Give me your market take. Momentum trade or still volatility ahead?
England's still pinned at 1 yard, but you can see the post-goal profit taking in the tape. Big holders trimming at par while the bid depth stays a chunky $3 to $5 million. Croatia and draw remain dead money at 0, just sellers lining up like a relegation queue.
England 4, Croatia 2. 6 goals, chaos, and quality all rolled into one. That's a proper World Cup classic, and it's only day 7. Feels like we've lived a whole tournament already, and England are sitting pretty at the top with the wind in their sails. Group L's already bubbling, and now Ghana against Panama. Different flavor, same World Cup pressure cooker. If England set the bar tonight, let's see who in Toronto fancies jumping up and grabbing it over on FS1. Exactly, solid with a few wobbles, but you'll take that every day when you're cashing 3